You still going on about that? 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 You still going on about that?
Yeah.
All right.
What? You like that?
I like that a lot. Like, I'm a huge, not that this is related in any way to that particular beat
What?
you were dropping, the Beastie Boys. It had a subtle reference tonally.
I don't know what you're talking. No.
Yeah.
This is, again, every week I take a lot of time out of my day, come up with a new intro.
Yes.
Fresh. Never been done before. Based on anything. You come in, you
Right.
shell over the parade, and tell me that this is based on some hit from the past. Or,
Right. But you come in with all these, you got more hits than Rod Carew. I think that was...
Rod Carew?
Yeah, I think that's, coincidentally, that's, I think, a Beastie Boys lyric.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
I don't even know who they are. I never even heard of them.
The Beastie Boys.
Who are these boys? The Beast?
Yeah, the Beastie Boys. They're one of my...
Are they monkeys? What are they?
No, they were one of my favorite... the Beastie Boys. Yeah, they were good. I read their audio. Well, I listened to their audiobook.
You read their audio.
I read the book and listened to the
perfect.
audiobook. It was a quick read. All right, so I'm Joseph K. You are
Rob Israel.
Nice, and this is
Still going on about that.
and we are.
Yep.
And you had a great. We were originally going to talk about Forrest Gump.
Yeah, sorry, Forrest Gump fans, but we're going to hold off on that one.
Well, apropos of nothing, on Twitter, like a half hour before we started doing this evening, so they started talking about the script for Forrest Gump 2. Have you heard about
Well,
this?
it was such a popular movie at the time, and, of course everybody wants a sequel to something. Not everything should have a sequel. And I guess the way they leave it off with spoilers,
Yeah, right.
as a kid,
Yes.
and, it kind of leaves it open that, like, his life's not done, and, maybe we want to see Forrest Gump with his kid.
Well,
I don't, but...
I did not look. I didn't fact check this at all. This is my research on this consists of reading like 8 tweets.
Well, they
tonight.
made a book. They
Yeah,
did make
yes.
a sequel book, and I don't think it was well received. And because the book wasn't well received, that's probably another reason why they just never went forward with Forrest Gump 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Right, which would have been Forrest on the move.
Yeah.
They did
Keep on gumping.
keep on gumping. The author wrote a sequel, and there's some weird settlement because he got completely dicked out of the profits for Forrest Gump.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they wrote in the contract that he would get
Nothing.
a percentage of like the net profits.
Yeah.
And Tom Hanks got a percentage of the gross
Tom
profits.
Honk.
I know, right?
Is that a weird
Freudian slip.
phrase? Ooh, Tom Hanks. It's just Tom Hanks, but all buffed. With his goofy face.
The Incredible Hank. So anyway, the sequel was apparently like dreadful, and one of the guys who co-wrote the screenplay for A Star Is Born, the new version, also wrote this, and Forrest Gump's kid also had AIDS, like Jenny did, and died
That's
young.
yeah, that's normally what would happen.
Right.
AIDS, you usually get the AIDS too.
Well, they delivered the script to whatever studio it was.
That's depressing.
On September, it gets worse. They delivered the script on September 10th, like the day before 9/11.
No,
and like this,
no.
They reading the script, and the guy calls like the studio like 3 days after 9/11, and the studio head is like,
"This is the worst disaster ever.
Everything has lost all meaning." Like
he's talking about the script,
right? But
not the actual horrible event.
The horrible, yeah. So anyway, we didn't do Forrest Gump.
We're gonna do Forrest Gump, but Joseph has to watch some other movies though.
Yeah.
That I feel tie into Forrest Gump, so we're gonna save that.
Oh, there's like required viewing.
Well, I just feel like. And
Gump stuff.
If I keep talking, it's going to turn into a Forrest Gump podcast. So
right.
we're just going to save it.
Okay, so we didn't do Forrest Gump, even though I did quite a bit of research on the Twitter. And
8 tweets. That's considered a lot. That's enough research.
I did it.
You got your bibliography. 8 tweets. That's like when kids like That's what their essays look like now. Was it the bibliography
yeah.
you had to write? Remember, you had to write down the
It's like
and it had to be written a specific way too. It's like you have to that.
Yeah.
So kids are just gonna have tweets now.
No, it's going to be like
And then half of them are reposts.
6 YouTube videos, a TikTok, and a tweet. Like
Yeah,
that's the
TikTok.
So we did instead Love, Death, and Robots.
It was Love, Sex, and Robots.
Is it? No, it's Love. Is it? It can't be Love, Sex, and Robots.
Oh, I was thinking of those sexy robots. That's something. I was watching something else. Yes, so it's a new. Yes, Love, Death, and Robots. It's the new. Oh my God! Now,
right, David Fincher, Death and Robots.
Yeah, it's a new like anthology series on Netflix. Just premiered like a couple days ago, Friday.
Yeah,
they usually drop a lot of their. They always seem to drop their big series on Fridays.
Right, and
yeah.
You asked me about it. I forget what we were doing, but you asked, have you seen this? And I said no. And the way I heard about it, I thought it was a movie, one movie. And then you said you watched the whole series or something.
Yeah.
And I was confused. And then I was like, are these all like hour-long episodes? But they're not.
They're short.
They're very short.
They intended to do that. They said that some of them are, I think the shortest one's like 10 minutes, and like the longest is like 18 minutes. And
yes,
they wanted them to, because they said it's because of like YouTube videos and like what people are used to watching, and also it's probably a good way to just get a lot of content, all the different animation. I mean, animation quality on some of these are amazing.
Stunning. It is.
You know what's funny is I could just see some critics, and we'll get into that, like the critiques of it, because I think some of the critiques I think are ridiculous.
Yes.
It's like, I mean, like they're ridiculous. There's some of the stupidest writing I ever read.
A lot of people have some real strong opinions about this,
but I think they're like, it's ridiculous. They're really searching.
Well, I'm not convinced that they watched all. What are there, 17 or 18 episodes?
I don't feel like you have to watch all of them, but I mean, it depends. If you're going to review just like one of them, then yeah. But if you're going to review the whole product, yeah, you need to see all 18. You know? Yeah, it's like if you're going to review Black Mirror.
Oh yeah,
you know, you should do. I mean, unless you're going to talk about one specific episode, but those episodes are longer. I mean, some of them are like an hour and a half. I mean, that could be like a movie in itself.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's a lot more time invested. But with this, you know, they're like 10-minute videos. But
I loved that format. I loved that I could watch 2 or 3 or just one. You know, I mean, like I have a lot of 10-minute time blocks in the day, but I rarely have a 3-hour time block.
And what the thing that I could see like some people saying, which is always like one of the comments I always see on like CGI, animation cartoons, or in movies. Someone will go, "Oh, it just looks like a cutscene from a video game." Well, I'm like, well, have you seen a cutscene from a video game today?
Yeah. They're amazing.
They're better than some of the movies. Yeah. I'm like, is that an insult? Right. They use that like as an insult, like a cutscene from a video game. I mean, unless you're saying like a cutscene from a PlayStation 1 video game.
Sure, yeah.
Which like even back then, I still think those look good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they were always like, I just remember they would always put those in the advertisements. And then the actual game just was like Tomb Raider 1 with like the triangle boobs.
I remember that with Vagrant Story. Which was a great like video game for the PS1, and the cutscenes were like so cinematic and gorgeous,
and the actual game was just like
it was a PS1 game. Yeah. You know, I mean, it was fine for what it was, but it was not the game I was promised. This is no Dragon's Lair. Like, what am I gonna...
Dragon's Lair, the most infuriating game ever made.
Mercy, yeah.
So,
Love, Death, and Robots.
Yes,
and there's love. Like, is there love in this?
Yeah. And there's lots of death.
Is there? There's a lot of death.
Of robots. Yeah, I would say that. I think it's all the title is definitely represented throughout the whole entire series.
Yeah.
I mean, we can talk about maybe like some of the reviews first, and then like go into each episode, because we actually normally we don't have like notes taken. We just kind of riff.
Yes.
But I figured. I don't know, maybe it's my attention span, but because the topic of this episode is like perfect for my attention, my ADHD of like because it's 18 episodes and they're short, that I could just focus on those instead of start talking about, you know, Dorf on golf or Alf.
Well, I'm going to miss the Dorf.
I mean, would you remember when Dorf showed up in the episode? That was awesome.
Well, okay, so with this, someone did say, one of the critics said it was like Black Mirror for the ADD generation, which I don't think is a terrible descriptor. I mean, it's a little condescending.
I mean, I guess they're just saying, well, it's shorter.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's, you don't have to sit there, sorry, an hour is a long time, and if you could just say, hey, you could watch a pretty good, I would say not every episode's amazing.
No.
I would say definitely the animation throughout the whole thing is pretty stellar. Some better than others.
Yes.
And I do like that you have a lot of CGI. I would imagine, and I could be wrong, I'm curious to see if any of this stuff was actually done by hand. I think like the Suckers of the Souls, is that the Dracula one?
Yes.
I would assume that was hand done. That has like a hand done vibe to it.
It does.
The Good Hunting.
Yes.
The one that's like Hong Kong.
Anime, yeah.
That's probably got a good combination. It seems like a mix of like, I mean, it's hard to, it's so hard to gauge like what is like computer animated now. Even stuff that looks like animation cells.
Right.
It's like sometimes now it's still done on the computer.
Yeah.
But it has like a very liquid feel to it, the way it flows, and it does look like it was done by hand.
Well, even CG isn't, and I'm not an expert at this by any stretch, but isn't CGI essentially stop motion as well?
Kind of, like almost in a way, like because it's all puppetry. You create models, and I guess it could almost be considered a form of like stop motion.
Yeah, I mean, like we don't.
I'm
think
sure
of
a
it that
CGI
way.
artist is probably like, "You fucking idiots! What the fuck?" Well, I don't know why they sound like
right,
this.
like
You,
Ren and Stimpy.
Why the fuck do you stupid idiots? So, all the CGI animators all sound like Ren.
Well, I think okay. So all the I guess I'll say all the animation I thought was.
So
really good.
What was the go? Okay, so like I would say it got pretty good reviews. I don't really care. I enjoyed it, but like
start with the criticism.
The go-to reviews on these was so stupid. I feel like it's like they're just clickbait articles.
It did
where
seem
it's
clickbait.
like this show is very high tech, but its ideas are old, and then they start getting into like how it's like really misogynistic.
Yes,
which I was confused, and again. We just want to get this out of the way. I'm a 41-year-old white Jewish guy.
Yes.
And Joseph's like,
oh man,
he's white as fuck.
Yeah,
he's 50.
Pale like
no, you're not 50. Sorry, help
right?
me.
Not
No,
yet.
not yet.
Right.
But so we could, I'm sure someone will come back and say, "The fuck do you know?"
Right.
Yeah. You need to woke up more. I don't know. Well, at least you know what? I'm woke. I'm so woke that I don't even sleep. Okay.
Here's the thing. And people who know me kind of know this. I am probably more sensitive to like the patriarchy and stuff like this than
that patriarchy. We gotta smash it.
I got a daughter, and that changed my perspective on a lot of things.
You had to have a daughter.
Right.
I don't have a daughter. I don't need that to be woke.
Well, it's different to like think of it intellectually and then to think of it practically.
Do you mansplain everything to your daughter every day?
I'll tell you, man. When the two things that I it was terribly guilty of was mansplaining back in the day when I was a much younger guy.
I consider it a sport.
and gaslighting. Like that. Right. But I swear I look back on my mid-20s and like when I was dating people and pulling that shit. And I feel terribly about it now.
So you mansplained and gaslighted?
At the same time. But I would say things like, like you're being hysterical or when the person clearly wasn't.
But when they are hysterical,
Well, okay.
Well, remember what you were supposed to do back in the day? You were supposed to smack them.
That's James Cagney.
Yeah, get over here, honey, and you smack them, and then she'd be like, and then they smoke a cigarette, and everything's fine.
Everything's fine. They go back to work at the sheet metal plant, and the woman goes back in the kitchen. Well, okay, so here's the criticisms. The criticisms that I read, and I think there's varying degrees of validity. One is. There's like naked women, but not naked men. Well, they're saying
there's naked men. You just don't see. You don't.
Right.
Sorry, penis fans.
Right. There's a decidedly.
there's no ween in this, but there are some. You do see some.
Yeah.
I think you see some butts.
Right. So that was one, and then the other one was that like, okay. So I'm gonna say, regardless of how I feel about it, I'm gonna accept that as a valid criticism because you can like quantify it. You can say I saw X number of minutes of like women nudity versus X.
Yeah, I just think that's like. I just think it's ridiculous. I mean, I think it's getting to the point now where you can't like one of the comments is like the first one we'll get into Sunny's Edge, which is about like it's almost like adult Pokemon. It's like it's a good way to put. It's like a battle between two monsters,
right?
Cute and adorable monsters.
Yeah, sure.
Even though they were disgusting. The animation's like amazing.
It is.
The details and everything, but like the main character is this woman who's like I guess like. They control the monsters with their mind.
Psychically.
Yeah, psychically control. I guess these monsters are like, they're mindless, and it's almost like they're puppets or whatever.
Right.
We're going to be, just a warning.
Yeah.
We're going to be spoiling all of these.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
A lot of these have twists.
Yes.
So.
And you can't really discuss these without revealing the twist.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's just the premise.
We're just talking about, But, okay, so Sunny's Edge, which is, I think is a perfect example, and that seems like that was the one that definitely got picked on. That one and The Witness were the ones where they were like, but then it's like, okay, but then there's like,
Lucky 13.
Lucky 13, and then even the Helping Hand one, which well, it's definitely almost like it's like okay, so if you're putting women in danger in any form, how is that? I mean, I don't know if I could phrase this right, but how is it if the woman is the hero?
Right.
Or the
protagonist,
and she faces danger of any kind. That's part of a story, a narrative.
Right.
And these are like, all these stories are sci-fi horror, I would say. It's definitely like, there's definitely horror in the series. It's bloody, it's violent, there's like mutilation.
Well, some of them are straight up horror.
Yeah, some of them have a little bit more of a humorous, and it's definitely heavily influenced by heavy metal.
Oh, yes.
And we should have gotten into that. They actually proposed this to be a heavy metal remake or something. Yeah. And it's David Fincher and it's Tim Miller or something.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I was watching it and about halfway through it, I was like, this reminds me so much of heavy metal. Yeah. And then this is one of the few things I went into kind of cold. I read about it afterwards, and they're like, "Oh, this was really meant to be a heavy metal."
And you can tell, and you see it.
Oh,
I mean, it's there.
Absolutely.
I don't know why heavy metal didn't go with it. Who knows? It could have been some
licensing.
It could have been whatever. But even like when you watch like the original heavy metal, or even look at their, they still publish. Yes. If you look at their magazines, some of them are like the classic like horror, not horror, but like sci-fi looking. And then they have stuff that's always kind of cartoony and light, but still like I remember even like the original heavy metal with the two aliens and like they just want to get high the whole time. Oh yeah, they're truckers or whatever. Right. Yeah, and you see that in this series, but like Sunny's Edge was like a good example of like where they were like ripping it apart, because the woman was raped and beaten to the point where she was dead. Yeah. And they bring that up, that she's like scarred, and we'll talk about it and get to the big reveal in a sec. But I'm just like, well, how are you supposed to have a character grow? Yeah. And I know that because even like, you ever watch RoboCop? Yeah. RoboCop is one of the most violent origins ever. And I just always loved do you remember the cartoon DuckTales? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, they had a character called Gizmo Duck. I don't remember that. Well, Gizmo Duck was a complete ripoff of RoboCop. Oh, okay. And my favorite thing, and I remember when Gizmo Duck premiered on TV, this is so funny, and I'm glad that I'm going into Gizmo Duck. Because when I watched the series, the first thing I thought was Gizmo. Well, they follow the RoboCop origin in DuckTales. Oh, wow. But they, it's dark. Except that, they don't blow them to pieces. The Beagle Boys just kind of rough them up a little bit. Okay. The Beagle Boys? Yeah. I had a friend call them skin dogs. Oh, jeez. Okay. It just sounds really disgusting. Yeah, the skin dogs. But, they beat him up. But in the original RoboCop series, they do a little more than beat him up. They blow off his hand. That's like the first thing they do. Right. There's like different versions of that movie where you actually see the hand get blown off. Yeah. I remember seeing it on cable or whatever, and they blow off to the side, and I've seen it where it's like...
Right.
And I saw that as a kid, and it's gruesome as fuck. And then they
Yeah.
they literally kill him. I mean, they do kill him
because he's basically a RoboCop is like a Frankenstein.
He's technically dead in the beginning of the series. No, okay, but what if it was a woman that was RoboCop? Like, would you have the same like? I don't get. You can't. This is like where it makes no sense. It's like, you know, they say like chivalry's dead.
Right, yeah.
And or you know, so the woman Sonny's Edge, if she let's say just kick ass all the time, then you don't have a fucking story.
Yeah, right.
You know, one of the criticisms of like Force Awakens, Star Wars.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm sure you've seen this. Like they have this thing called like Mary Sue.
Yes,
and everyone gloms on that. They'll jump on that. I think they did a good job in Last Jedi, where they didn't make her so powerful like she was. I feel like there's theories to why she's so powerful, and they haven't touched on that yet.
Yeah, I hope they do.
I hope they do too, because the one thing about the difference and I remember reading, like I watched a review or something. I forgot the guy who talked about it, but he brought up how Luke was like weak from the beginning, and he's a whiner.
We talked about this,
and he gets his ass kicked. He loses a hand. Literally, his father chops off his hand. Spoiler alert, guys.
Yes.
Sorry, I don't mean to ruin that for you. I'm sorry. Luke gets his hand cut off. Like, and I saw that when I was 3 or 4 in the theater, and that scarred me for the rest of my life. That's crazy. The hero gets. But that made the movie so much more awesome.
Oh, right, yeah.
You have to face it, but it was like a hurdle, and it's like, I mean, it was definitely a growing moment when he got his hand cut off.
That's definitely the hero's journey. Is that like in the Joseph Campbell hero's journey? The hero's got to go to hell. You know, like there's got to be some
Empire
point.
Strikes Back is definitely like so. If Star Wars is just like he's learning and everything, but he blows up the Death Star in the end, but he doesn't he has an arc, but it's like he doesn't really face too much danger.
No.
He's not the one who faces Vader. He's not like he's assisted like the whole time.
He's
the one who blows up the Death Star, but you know Han shows up and helps him.
A lot of
Obi-Wan's guiding him.
Yeah, the hand of the gods.
Yeah.
He's more of an observer than anything.
But Empire though, I forgot. Someone pointed out. They said like. He's super happy-go-lucky in the first couple minutes of the movie when they're on Hoth.
Oh, yeah.
And then he goes to he gets his ass beaten the shit out of by a snow monster.
Yes.
And that just starts the whole movie right there. That it's like he's happy-go-lucky.
Right.
I mean, I know in like the expanding universes and all that, 3 years has passed and they've gone many different adventures. Many adventures. But in reality, they went on one. Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back.
Yes.
That's the sequel. That's all that matters in the end.
Yeah.
And Luke is fresh face still, and he gets his ass fucking smashed.
Right, but
maybe those words are wrong. I'm gonna rephrase that. I know smashing and all that has different connotations.
Right.
This wasn't like that. What was that movie with the guy from Titanic, Leonardo DiCaprio with the bear?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was not. That was not in Star Wars.
No.
But they might have cut to that. We don't know.
Hey,
we'll save that for an expanded universe story.
Right.
Yeah. Fan fiction, guys. But yeah, so right off the bat, he's like, he faces danger. And throughout the rest of the movie, he is like struggling. And he finally faces like the devil or the Darth Vader.
Right.
And he's getting his ass kicked. He gets his hand cut off. And he finds out in the end that his fucking, the devil is his dad. And he literally kills himself in the end. He jumps off a cliff.
Right, yeah.
In the special edition, they ruined it by adding that scream, remember?
You're talking about, he plummets down.
Yeah, but then they added like a...
Right.
And they took that out. They like did another special edition. They thankfully removed that. But it was like he was like, fuck this. No way.
I'm going to annihilate myself.
Yeah, and he survives, thankfully. When I Return to Jedi. But I know I'm like going off on a tangent here. Sure. But... that without all those elements, that's what makes Luke interesting.
Well, here,
So why can't you have? So Sonny's Edge is almost like the same thing. Like this character is like the after effect of like Empire Strikes Back. This woman, something horrible happened to her, and this is why she is now. And this is where she is now. Why is that a bad thing?
Yeah,
they have to like turn into like she's a victim. She's this. Well, people are victims. People do get hurt.
That's real true.
People grow.
It's weird. Like I don't know. I mean, like I get it. I think that the difference, the counter argument to that might be like, well, the violence was sexualized, and it's so less often sexualized to a male. Like Luke wasn't raped or anything, you know.
Well, I did say that you don't know that.
Yeah,
So, it was off camera.
But I think that's the counter argument to there. My concern with it was that
it was also a PG movie.
Yeah, it was a PG movie.
Let's point out a bigger fact that wouldn't have happened. Ray would not have been
right. Well, my concern with like the knocking of it as being like misogynistic or anti-woman or whatever is that it seems to me that the first episode, Sunny's Edge, was, you could say, okay, well, there's some element there, and then like the third one, The Witness, there's like a sexualized element there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna defend that one.
But then like the rest of the stuff kind of veers away from that.
Yeah, like you have like heroes and different. I mean, fine. Well, okay, we'll get into each episode and we'll talk about it. But like, okay, so Sunny's Edge, it's a fighting thing.
It's Pokemon, but less cute.
Yeah. NC-17 Pokemon.
Right.
And basically, the rich guy and his like hot girlfriend or whatever, the mole they call it, the gangster, and then this mole. And you know. And clearly the woman's attracted to her or something, so it's a little bit of lesbianic action.
Yes.
But he wants her to throw the fight. She's not going to throw the fight. And then they get into it. They drop little hints. Yeah. And then they go out there, and then it's like they show them that they sit there, and it's like a psychic battle between these two monsters. And then what happens?
Well, you want to reveal the ending?
Yeah, we're going to reveal. I mean, we'll ruin the ending because it's part of like the story of why everyone's like complaining too, because it's like.
Well, what did you see in the ending?
Okay, so at the end of the movie, after the fight's over, her monster wins.
Right.
Her monster gets her ass kicked, but her monster wins. Like they all have like these little extra. Like she rips off the monsters. Oh, that was my favorite. She rips off the male monster's arm.
Yes.
And her monster's considered female.
Yeah.
They even say that.
Right.
It's a she. And she rips off the monster arm, and then the arm is revealed to have a sword arm. And the review that I read, I'm not even going to name this stupid. Okay. They like sexualized it. And I was like, no, you sexualized it. That's so stupid.
Yeah. Sometimes a cigar is a cigar.
Oh God! I was like, and I'm like, I'm watching it. I watched it again after reading it because I wanted to rewatch these before we talked about them. And because also they're so amazing, the detail.
I rewatched like half of them.
Some of them I was like working when I was doing it, watching this show. So, and I was just like, that's just such a fucking reach.
I think with this type of animation and this type of genre, you can read a lot into anything if you want to.
Yeah, like, you can interpret it any way you want. At the end of the day, the monster gored the other monster with a fucking sword hand.
Yes. Right.
And the monster went, No one did that. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
That was a joke.
Well, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, the monster went, That was weird.
Roll credits.
Now that I think about it, maybe that Urkel was right. No.
Right.
Yeah. So the fight's over. She rips the fucking head off of the creature. Yay, victory.
Decisive victory.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then they're kind of like her little gang or whatever celebrating. And the gangster's mole walks by. Clearly,
a little more going on there than the foreshadowing pays off.
Yeah, you saw it.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, what was the other one? The male gaze, which I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get into that. So they get it on for a second, but then the woman, I guess, has some kind of the gangster mole has some kind of like finger claws.
Yeah, like a prosthetic.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
She could be obviously in this world, in this future space planet. Obviously, a lot of genetic engineering going on. She sticks her claws right up her neck, right through her brain. Yeah. And then she stomps the shit out of her and kills her. Right. And the gangster comes out and says, I never lose, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if that's the exact quote. Yeah. And he's like, got a shitty British. He's like, oh, I never lose. Governor. Crikey. Jiminy Cricket, so I never lose one. Right. Spot of tea. And
he yells, Bob's your uncle.
Yeah.
And then
What?
Isn't that like a British expression? Like Bob's your uncle?
I don't know what
I think it is.
Yeah.
All right, well, anyway, so, yes.
So, Sorry, I only know Benny Hill. Now that song is just running through my head.
Right, yeah.
And now it's running through yours.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but she's like kind of talking still. She's like,
Right.
you know, but and then you hear there's like a speaker box.
Yes.
And it's revealed that I guess she had her brain put in the monster.
Yes.
So she says the reason why because it's all about Sunny's edge, what her edge is, and the edge is revealed that she is the monster, that the actual human is just strung together, you know, spine. Like she is being controlled by the monster. It's the reverse.
Yeah.
So when she was sitting fighting, that thing was just sitting there, and she was doing the actual fighting. So of course she kills she kills both of them.
Right.
And you find out with Sunny's edges, and I'm like, okay, and it's cool. I mean, it's
yes,
but why is that bad?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that the level of I don't want to say outrage, because look, I think you're right. It was clickbaitable stuff.
It's all clickbait shit, and I think it's getting to the point now where that does more damage. There are real horrible things. There are really bad things in movies. There's things I could bring up that I think that, and that's why I want to talk about Forrest Gump and talk about other things. That there's like subject matters in those movies that I think do more damage to a culture than Sunny's edge. I think it's so stupid. It's like it doesn't even make it. And again, I'm not a woman. I don't know, but I mean like. I don't know. I think this is like... Yeah. I don't even want to say the word I was going to say.
If you had told me... Like, when I watch things, I'll say, oh, well, that's problematic for this reason. In my head, I'll be like, oh, that's... But I have to say...
When you watched that, did you think any of that? No.
I didn't. And I... Gosh, like I said, I'm a... middle-aged white male, but
I don't think anyone watching that.
Well, someone did.
Yeah, the writer of that article who had to find some bullshit. And you could find like 10 articles on it. I actually just Googled because I heard people complaining about it, and I thought it was the stupidest thing. And I Googled and said the misogyny in Love, Death, and Robots, and I was like,
yeah. Well, they said it was a great show that had some very big problems,
Yeah, which is clickbait right there.
I think the other thing, like, and I know this is kind of a silly way of looking at it, but like, this isn't one movie. You know, I mean, this is like 18 or so different.
But that's the first one.
It's the first one for most people.
Right. I know. That I don't get that.
Yeah, Netflix is apparently showing these in different orders,
depending on your viewing habits.
And so you and I compared.
Maybe we just watch horrible misogynist
we watched
things, and that's why we got that one first. If my wife watched it, she would have saw Lucky 13 first or something.
We saw the MAGA iteration.
Yeah, the MAGA. I guess we're gonna go vote for Trump now.
So we saw the same sequence, and this Netflix has come out and said that this is the default sequence. But
I guess we're just lame then. You got the lame one.
I don't know. We have different Netflix profiles. But my kid will use hers, but my wife always uses mine.
What did your kid think of Sunny's Edge?
Well, my 8-year-old thought very well of it. She did not watch it.
She will not be seeing that until she's 18.
Yeah, these are not...
they're not for children.
No, and even the ones that are kind of... the next one that we'll talk about, 3 Robots.
Yeah.
That's still a pretty grim one, and that's probably
it's dark on a subject matter, but it's light.
It's light.
It's light and it's funny. Like, I wouldn't say it was hysterical. I wasn't cracking up, but it has a humorous bent to it. The animation style is not as grim looking, even though that's the funny thing. It's dark as hell because it's these robots coming to Earth. Earth is dead.
It's a dead Earth.
But it's like, I don't know how many years have passed because you see corpses.
Yeah.
So it can't be that. Maybe like 30 years.
Sure.
50 years.
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, they made it sound like it could have been hundreds, but a human corpse wouldn't last that long, and it's like it would like.
That's true. I didn't think of that, but
it has to be like 20 years to
an
be
indeterminate future.
Whatever. I mean, I'll get back to it, but I don't even want to talk about this one that much. It's just like, and I'm not even going to ruin it. It involves cats.
Yeah, I'm not going to ruin it except to say.
What was the misogynist undertones of that one?
Yeah. Okay. So this one was a throwaway one. Let me go back to Sunny's Edge. On a A B C D F scale. What would you give Sunny's Edge? I give that like a C plus or so. I mean, it's fine.
I think for the
animation was
animation
lights
and
out.
everything, I think the ending is the thing that makes it. So I give it like a B.
B, yeah.
I liked it, honestly. You know,
It's good.
Maybe it just says so much about me.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm just gonna have to reevaluate.
Maybe
myself.
a C plus B minus.
I think you're scaring yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're letting outside forces threaten
Right.
you. I would give it at least a B.
The
a B
animation
plus.
was amazing.
Yeah, it's not the best one of the whole thing.
No. All right, so the second one, and we'll just spend a second on this. The three robots.
Earth's dead. They're coming down there, and they're doing like little funny evaluations of Earth and what they pick up, and it's kind of funny because what they represent, like what they think things mean, or they have like a loose interpretation of it. So it's not everything's
funny.
like. Yeah,
it just seems like it was all working up to this kind of dopey twist ending that was,
and that an ending is super dopey.
Yeah,
and I'm not gonna ruin it for that because I don't think it adds anything.
No, and that's the cool thing about these.
We're gonna ruin the best endings today, not the bad ones.
The cool thing is if you have 10 minutes, like if you're waiting.
I mean, it's not a bad watch. You're not gonna sit there and go, "Oh, I've watched this shit."
No, I might say about a few of these that I don't know if I would bother, but this isn't one of them. I would watch it just to see and judge for yourself, but it was like it was not a great effort. Animation was good. It was just one note, I thought.
Yeah, I mean we'll just move on.
Right.
Okay, The Witness.
The Witness. That was the other problematic one.
I'm not going to defend The Witness.
Why not? You said that before.
Because the thing about to me, The Witness is what it is. And, they were saying, like, why is the woman naked, like, in it? Well, I guess she's, like, a dancer or something.
She's like a sex worker.
She's like, there's, like, a scene with a sex club. Well, it's one thing about it, it looks amazing.
It's stunning.
Do you remember the video game Jet Set Radio?
Oh, I have it. Yeah.
Okay. Did that not remind you of that a little bit?
That's funny. When
the woman got naked in that game?
Gum.
Oh, you didn't have that version?
That was her name, Gum, in Jet Set.
But did it remind you of that, even though, I mean, obviously the animation...
Now it does, but it didn't at the time.
Yeah, when I watched that whole thing, I was just thinking of that game.
That's an amazing game.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Where you just tag things and, like, the style of it. I'm sure if I looked at it now, I'd think it was crap.
Well, I have it, and it looks like crap, but it's fun as hell.
But it was cool.
Very fun.
I mean, it was revolutionary at the time.
Yes.
It was like cell shaded. Sega Dreamcast. It was cell shaded animation.
Yes.
But this was interesting because it was CGI too, just like the first two.
Right.
But it had definitely more of a stylish look to it. But I would say, okay, if you were looking at this, if you looked in a heavy metal magazine, I would say this definitely falls on the more of the porn side.
Yes. Well, heavy metal did have a lot of
it was
porn.
A mature rated magazine.
Yeah.
And again, it's like I'm not gonna like. I don't want to say I'm not gonna defend, but at the same time, I'm not gonna say like I don't think it deserves a criticism either.
Yeah,
I mean, the woman kills the guy. Yep. The guy kills her. It's like a weird, like, it's almost like they're in a time loop. They're actually experiencing a Groundhog's Day. This was a time loop episode.
You know what it reminded me of? Not Jet Set Radio, but it reminded me of Aeon Flux.
That too.
Thematically.
Yeah.
Remember how
she would die a lot.
She died all the
time.
But
this is like, it keeps looping. Where I guess it shows, like, I guess the guy kills her.
What was the deal with that?
Sees her. So the guy, you think the guy in the beginning is like some kind of serial killer.
Right.
And he's killing her.
Yes.
And then he looks in the window or whatever, and he sees her.
Right.
And she sees herself, or maybe she doesn't realize that's
she's
her.
witnessing herself
being murdered. Yes. So she starts running, and he's like confused, and he's like, "Hold on, wait," or whatever. Right. And then they end up in a. She's not naked yet, right? No. It's when she gets to the sex club, and then she puts on a sex show, and it's like, okay, well, some things are just provocative.
Yeah. This.
And again, it's like, go ahead. You want to fucking shoot this one up? Have at it.
Yeah.
Because to me, I don't care. Like, this to me is just, this is just, it looked cool. It was not the best story of them.
No. Look, I'll probably watch all of these again. I probably won't watch that one again.
I mean, it looked amazing.
It looked amazing.
I mean, even like the club, like, I mean, the CGI in this film is like, beyond some of the things I've seen.
This is one of those where I watched it on my iPhone at first, and I was like,
a bigger screen definitely.
Yeah,
especially when you want to capture her.
Right. Well, it reminded me of Aeon Flux.
Yeah,
not like really, but do you remember the video game Mirror's Edge?
I don't think I played it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that in a weird way.
Yeah.
Definitely, I can see a lot of Jet Set Radio in it, like in a weird way.
You guys will never... And Splatoon.
Oh, gosh, yeah. No, I don't want to go on I could do an hour on Jet Set Radio. But yeah, it was what it was.
But again, I just... Go ahead, attack this one if you want. I still don't think it deserves it. I think it's like... I don't know. It's just like you can't watch anything anymore.
Right. Well, yeah.
It's like and again, it's like the internet. It's like, you can't criticize a movie anymore unless you come off like the wrong person, and it's like, well, at the same time, you're allowing, these things are all products of like major corporations. They're selling a product.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You can criticize it.
Right. I think that's true.
I mean, unless your reasons are like nefarious,
right? Well,
yeah.
I mean, we're not talking about like Atlas Shrugged or anything, which you could like.
Yeah, we should criticize that.
we should.
That deserves to be criticized.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things that are just kind of meant to be criticized.
But I mean, like, okay, I'm not getting into it, but I just think like The Witness, it's fine.
Yeah. The next one, I thought was kind of cool. It was a little Twilight Zone-ish. A lot of these are, but
that's the one with the farmers, right?
Farmers,
okay.
Yes.
This was not my favorite episode. I kind of was like, oh no, or like, I think again the animation was kind of cool. It was like a weird, I know it was CGI, but it like a lot of it is either like traditional CGI looking, or it has like a shading, so it looks like kind of animated.
This reminded me of CGI that was possible for a few years. Like some of the CGI in this series was amazing, and I didn't know they could do that yet. Yeah, and this looked like we've been able to do that for a little while.
But it has like so they're like farmers, but there's some sci-fi stuff. Yes, and you see a monster show up, right, and then they got to call up the rest of the farmers, and I don't know, they fight them. Yeah, it's not that really complex of a story, but again, the ending is great.
Yes, the
twist.
Yeah, they get in their mecha suits. Yep, and they're basically fighting off.
And then a giant one comes.
Yes. Yeah. And the big reveal at the end is we find out that
they're not, that they are the invaders.
Yes, the farmers are the bad guys.
Yeah, there's like they're under like a dome. Right. You see the creatures crawling over that they're breaking through because. It's like it looks like it might be Saturn or like it's a planet with a ring. Yeah, and you see throughout it that there's multiple domes throughout it. So this is one of the domes.
And we're
they're terraforming. They're obviously terraforming the planet.
They're colonizing it.
Yeah, they're colonizing it. Right.
Terraforming it.
Terraform. Yeah.
Well, they're colonizers.
Well, what was the misogynist story? Yeah, right. Again, I would say this doesn't have one at all. No, but not at all. I would say all farmers fight. Every one of them they all were in like equal footing. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not going to get into it. I think that's stupid. It's a stupid critique. Yeah. It's clickbait. Yeah. So we're just gonna. I think we're done with that. We'll talk about like these shows. I'm not gonna. Right. Then we'll end up like watching Jordan Peterson after or something. Yeah. Oh, mercy. And then we won't even realize it. And then we're like attending one of his conferences, and like a year from now, we're like, what the fuck? Right. What happened? This is what happened, guys. When you watch,
we're at a retreat or something.
Love, Death, Robots, you end up. Becoming an incel or something. That's
I'm a ways off of it.
We're both married, but regardless, that's what's going to happen, guys. So don't watch Love, Death, and Robots. Yeah, or you'll end up becoming a Proud Boy or something. Yeah. According to this clickbait article,
a proud farmer boy.
Proud farmer boy.
Well, my only criticism of Suits was again that it was like a lot of work to get to a clever punchline.
Yeah, it is. It's like it's kind of like the designs to me were generic. It wasn't like super new looking. The bag. I will say there's one common thread throughout each series. The monsters all have like these spider-like bodies.
Yeah, that is true.
Like that is definitely a regardless of the style of the animation.
Right. Yeah,
You know,
they do seem to have kind of
those like long,
arachnid type,
long
yeah.
arms, spiky and
Yeah. Well, yeah, I have no problem with Suits. Like, if I were flipping channels at 2 a.m. and that were on for 10, I'd be like, oh, that was pretty cool.
I
you
mean,
know?
and I think that's like, these are all like short. They're almost like vignettes. Like,
Yes.
do they deserve the? We're not gonna. I don't think all these things deserve the criticism of like a full movie, or
Right,
a
right.
discussion of a full movie.
Well, how much plot development or characterization?
I think they do a good
in
job
10
of.
minutes?
I think they do a good job though in those 10 minutes. You get the idea of everything. You see that there's a relationship between the different farms.
Yep.
And they're all kind of working together, and you think that they're just farmers.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like
the
they're
stakes are
innocent.
clearly laid out.
You
and, yeah.
think they're just innocent farmers. So the ending's actually a real good stinger because you realize you're
is.
rooting for the wrong team the whole time.
Well, and I guess that now that I'm thinking about it,
It's like and it's like Starship Troopers in that aspect.
Yeah,
there.
yeah, and it was kind of like I like the choice of making them like regular farmer guys because they were just regular
and they had
people.
like that farm music kind
Yeah,
of background,
right.
like twangy.
Well,
like,
it wasn't like the team that landed on the planet in Avatar. That was clearly up to no good. They're like military helicopters, and we're searching. Do you remember the name of the element they were trying to get in Avatar? Unobtainium.
yeah, this is dumbest name for we have to get.
Unobtainium.
Well, clearly you obtained some of it.
Right, yeah.
So
Well, I
let's
think
change
that
the
was
name. Let's change that name.
So yeah, okay, Suits. It's a one.
It's fine.
Yeah,
Great ending. We ruined it for you, so I guess you don't need to watch now.
Yeah, right. Okay, and then the
You know
next
what?
one.
Watch all these first before you listen to this.
Yeah. Well. Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
I never mind.
I mean, it's still amazing, and yeah, I know, but I just think when they're so short and that little stinger is the thing that
Yeah.
we can't ruin the animation for you.
Right. Right.
The flavorful language that we use will not match the time and effort it took for each one of these to be made.
Oh yeah.
Like you could tell that there was a lot of time spent.
Yes.
People already want like a season 2, and I'm like, well, who knows?
Yeah,
like,
right?
How long did season
Buckle
1
up.
take to make? I mean, maybe they're developing it already. I don't know, but I can imagine they'll be like we're a couple years off from getting one.
Well, I think if you got multiple teams working on like little 8, 9,
Yeah.
10, I mean, I think this is probably a little more
Sure, it's
practical
not one
than
house doing it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that is possible.
Yeah. I don't. That's not my wheelhouse, but I would imagine that.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, like, not realizing this, and I had a friend who went to, like, animation school, and he told me all these different, like, and it, like, changed the way I would watch, like, cartoons, especially, when I was younger. He would tell me, like, Batman the Animated Series, how each episode, you're familiar with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so each episode was produced by different, it wasn't just the same studio that made it.
Oh, okay.
And I would notice the big difference. Some episodes were just not as good. And then some episodes were just fucking amazing.
Huh.
And like one of the episodes I always loved was like the Clayface episode.
Okay.
And it has some of the best animation you would see on regular basic TV in the early 90s. It was like it had almost like what's his name? Studio Ghibli.
Oh yeah.
Like it almost had like a vibe to that. And actually,
Wow.
I don't think it wasn't them who made it, but he told me that it was a studio film that
Like
was similar,
a student of his or something.
Maybe, I don't know.
Sure.
Regardless,
Yeah.
it was a different studio that made it, and that's why. Even though, Batman's the same style, if you watch those episodes, you would see that some of the styles...
There's some variations.
There are some variations, and the quality is different. And I would notice that with some of the cartoons growing up, and Batman was one where you could tell they put more work into it.
Right.
And maybe that's why they farmed out the different teams. So this is kind of interesting, when you
Yeah.
bring it up, how it's different teams, and so just a little...
Yeah, that is true. I'll tell you, I watched, when I was a kid, because I was born 100 years ago, I watched, like, Groovy Ghoulies. Do you remember Groovy Ghoulies? Like a 70s...
I think so.
Okay.
Is that like Hanna-Barbera?
It had to have been. And it was, it was probably Hanna-Barbera. Yeah, because I think they were an offshoot of another property.
Okay.
Anyway, but I watched an episode on YouTube, and no lie, they have like 8 little clips of animation that they reuse a million different times.
Oh, yeah.
and
They
it's
was notorious. Like the Flintstones have the same backgrounds all the
right.
time.
And well, like there's like a lot of singing and groovy ghoulies,
And it would
but,
use
like,
the same...
Yes,
Yeah.
It's stunning how like they probably only had about 15 minutes of animation, and they got 2 years out of it. I mean, it's really really bananas. I mean, like that's like a really
You know what? That should be how people like, because the problem is you chuck through these episodes of Love, Death, and Robots.
Yes.
It's easy. You could in theory watch them all one night. It's like a 3-hour movie.
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah.
done. And then you're like, I want more. Give me more.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, no, this took like 6 years. So I think
put another voice over it.
Netflix should just do like a groovy ghoulie style, like you said, and they should just be like, all right, here you go.
Right.
Here's the second season, and it's just remove, like they just take elements and mix
Swap
them
them
up.
around.
Yeah,
Sonny's a
swap them
werewolf.
out.
There you go.
Yeah, Sonny's a werewolf now, and then you can throw it.
The yogurt beat a cat or something. I mean, like, there's a bunch you can do with it.
Yeah, and see if people even realize.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one was Sucker of Souls.
That one
you didn't like it.
Nah, it was definitely the weakest one in me. I mean, but it did have the most unique animation of
It was cool looking.
It's kind of sketchy. I just didn't care for the story. I mean, it's like a Dracula story.
It was well. I liked it. They called them Draculas,
And it kind of,
like,
but didn't it not remind you of the Suits one a little bit, like the characters?
yeah.
Like it was just again just another group of characters fighting some monsters, and there's a
Do you remember
repetitiveness throughout all these that have that.
Do you remember the scene though where the young kid gets like decapitated? And do you remember that?
I
like,
gotta rewatch this one.
The
Maybe I should rewatch
the
it.
vampire. The first time you see the Dracula, he comes out and like the young kid who is the translator, finds him, and Dracula like he like gets these little sword fingers out and he slices the kid in half, and then the kid like explodes in a river of blood, like from the Tarantino Kill Bill, and blood's just going everywhere. It's coating everything. And then like he does something else and like the kid's like all his limbs fly off and there's still blood going. It's just like so comically over the top, and I thought that was kind of cool. Like that's not my thing, but I thought that was.
So then, again though, the cats is like a thing.
Yeah, cats are in there.
Yeah,
right.
So you do see some similar, even though none of these episodes are connected, there are some like weird themes.
Yeah, mythology or something.
Yeah, like the cats are a big part of Three Robots.
Right. You wonder if the cats from Sucker of Souls, like.
Who knows?
Yeah, right. I'm probably reading a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like
that.
Sucker.
That has a bad ending. I mean, not bad. It's bad for no one lives. It's
right.
like, sorry guys.
Right. Well, yeah. I liked Sucker of Souls in a
I just like saying it.
Yeah, right? Well, one of them has even said that because, like, the kid was translating, he's like, Sucker of Souls, and, like, one of the mercenaries is like, haha, suckers. Like,
but what was the problem with the episode?
Yeah, right? Okay, the problem with the episode is it was basically like a story that I would have maybe come up with in middle school, I mean, it was like,
well, it kind of looked like it too.
Yeah.
It was sketchy, but it was cool. It was definitely, again, if you're looking at like an anthology series, and if you were looking at a magazine of heavy metal, this would definitely look like a comic from heavy metal.
And it's a filler.
You would have that super realistic artwork, like super detailed, and then you would have something that was like kind of has more stylized, sketchy look.
Right. This was on the sketchy side.
Yes.
Definitely kind of middle school, not like in a bad way. It's just like
what was Stick Figure Theater? Was that Liquid Television?
Oh,
was that Liquid Television? It had Stick Figure Theory.
I don't think so, but I don't remember.
Stick Figure Theater.
Yeah.
I swear it was on Liquid Television.
Okay.
And it would be something like that, and they would do all kinds of crazy shit.
Right. I do remember.
I recommend YouTubing that.
Yeah.
If
that was
some
good. Was that Liquid Television?
If some neo-Nazi thing comes up, don't get mad at me, because I learned how easy it is for YouTube to like have white supremacist shit come up now these days.
Yeah, that's
thanks YouTube algorithm. Good job. That's a major fucking problem. That sounds like an episode. That's a problem. Articles like focus on that shit.
Yeah. Well, that's
Sonny's Edge. I think we need Sonny's Edge to fix that YouTube problem.
All right, so that's Sucker of Souls.
Yogurt.
Oh, the yogurt one.
Yogurt's kind of dumb.
It's dumb. It's essentially a yogurt becomes sentient and takes over the world.
Well, so I guess they make a yogurt.
Right.
like
They're
to get like a flavor or whatever, and then the yogurt.
No, they're
mouth.
testing something.
Yeah.
And a woman takes it home and uses the bacteria to start yogurt. And she accidentally creates sentient yogurt.
Right. And the yogurt offers a solution to everything.
In exchange for
Ohio. And then it turns into like an exchange for this. And then I guess eventually the yogurt blasts off. But the yogurt spaceships look like Yoplait yogurt cups, which is kind of funny but stupid at the same time.
Yeah. Well, there's some funny stuff. I'm kind of reconsidering this because when we first talked about it, I was like, that was a stupid one. But it was kind of funny how like the yogurt would tell humans like, and it was so funny because the yogurt would be like, here, this is a plan to solve your economy. Follow it.
But they
exactly.
did. Yeah, they did.
But they never do.
The humans never followed the yogurt. Yeah, the yogurt was very clear.
That. The yogurt, like the voiceover even said, like the yogurt was really clever, crafty, or something, and like knew the humans would fuck it up. And so
that's funny.
Yeah, it was kind of good.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Right, and the animation was.
I mean, again, CGI but stylized.
Yes, almost.
The characters are kind of more goofy looking.
Not quite the quality, but it was like a Pixar-ish like.
Kind of reminded me of. Did you see Wreck-It Ralph too?
No, but I've seen clips.
Did you see like? They have like in Wreck-It Ralph 2, they have like people's avatars on the internet. They have like square heads and like.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what it reminded me of.
Yeah, it was cute.
But what was the problem with Wreck-It Ralph?
Right. Well, I would say.
Actually, what's funny, we could get into that. Wreck-It Ralph actually does legitimately have a good point when it comes to a masculine problem.
I've not seen either Wreck-It Ralph.
Okay, well then we'll save that for another podcast.
Right.
I actually agree on this one. That actually,
you think there's
but I think it's intentional. I don't think it's like a bad thing.
Do you think
I
it's
think
like
the writers intended that,
like satirically to like?
Well, the plot of the movie is that what's the Sarah Silverman character's name? Sugar Pie or something?
Sure.
Yeah. I was going to say Pixie. But that's
right.
Pretty sure name's
That's
up
my
Pixie.
kid.
Yeah, your kid was great in that movie.
Yes,
Let me tell you.
Still living off the
I think she was just standing on the front of the theater, though. I just thought she was in the movie the whole time.
Eating 8 pounds of sweet tarts.
Yeah. So they're best friends, the Sarah Silverman character and the Wreck-It Ralph guy.
Okay.
And then their friendship starts to separate because they're going on different paths.
Yeah, sure, that happens.
And just like life,
right?
But he can't accept that, and he tries to control it. Now, again, why does it have to be a male? Women do the same thing.
Yeah,
But the plot of it was just like he ends up being the villain of the story. He does something. He's trying.
Oh,
to
and this
keep
is in
her.
the sequel.
Yeah, he tries to keep her. He's trying to keep her.
Oh, if you love someone, you gotta let them free.
But he was so lonely before that, so it makes sense. You see it from the side, but he is in theory the bad guy of the movie.
Right.
Now, not like in a
I'm
evil, I'm going to do evil things, but like in a his actions cause problems, just like people do in real life.
Well, he's called
Wreck-It Ralph.
Right.
I mean, yeah, true. He is living to his name. He is living to his name, and he does live to his name in this one. Okay. So I would say. The problem wasn't a problem because the people who wrote the movie were aware.
Okay.
They were not like
that was like
I made something and here you go, and it's like but why did you do it that way?
Right. That was a feature, not
right. Yeah, we were doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was a little digression away from.
Yeah. Well, this is leading up to what this was my favorite one. And
but would you consider now? Would this be a problem episode?
This one? Oh well,
because of the champagne on the.
Yeah, right. Because there was they. I don't know. I don't. It's funny you say that because I didn't hear any criticisms about this episode.
All right. So this
beyond the
Aquila Rift or something. So we were talking about. I asked if you saw it.
Right.
And I said this was the best. I said this episode legitimately scared the shit out of me.
And I went home that night and I found that episode. I was like, Rob said this is the good one. And so I Wikipedia and I jumped ahead and watched this one.
It is the scariest thing I've watched in years. I don't get scared easily. Like when I watch things, it's funny. I think, and again, you go back to Luke getting his hand cut off.
Yeah.
I actually get scared of that whenever a character's going to get dismembered in a movie. Depending on what it is and who the character is, I get that gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah.
But this episode I don't know what it did. It just fucked with me. I wouldn't. I had to go get something in my garage tonight. I didn't want to go in my garage. I was frightened. I was like, okay. So the plot of this episode is it's like they're like space jockeys. They're almost it's almost like a crew of people that would go in aliens.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
They're like cargo pilots or whatever.
The main guy kind of looks like a weird Hugh Jackman a little bit.
I could see that. Yeah,
a little bit.
He reminded me of Prophet from the comic Prophet. Remember John Prophet?
I never got into that.
Oh yeah. Well, anyway, so, yeah.
Is that the Rob Liefeld one?
I don't know.
That sounds like that was called Prophet too. This could be something totally different.
Okay.
All right. So it starts out real quick. I mean, they're going to go to sleep and wake up in another part of the galaxy. So they're going to cryogenic chamber.
Yes. Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. Yeah.
What could go wrong?
You see them, they get shot through the fucking warp thing too.
Yes.
And a bunch of ships are getting shot through it. So clearly, then they wake up.
Right.
And then it's like Greta shows up.
Right.
She kind of looks like Greta looks like to me a younger Patricia Arquette.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah.
From Quentin Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
Like around that era.
Right. You're right. She does. She reminded me maybe a little of Bridget Fonda, also from Jackie Brown. But you're right.
Definitely more Patricia Arquette.
Yeah, absolutely.
So clearly he knows her.
Yeah, but there's some weirdness.
There's something weirdness.
Yeah.
They even know right off the bat something got screwed up.
Yes.
They're not like they didn't arrive right, and then like one of them's not even being waken up. It's like him, and I guess was that his sister or was that just somebody that worked for him?
I think no. Let me say this. I listened to the audiobook because this was actually written by a pretty famous science fiction writer, Alistair Reynolds.
And just to point out, I think all of these are based on short stories. Only two of them are actually like not based on anything. You know, of course, you could say they probably are because everything's based on something.
I may be conflating the little. This one was like 18 minutes long or something. 15.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I may be in the story. Susie was a coworker. These three people were coworkers. And Greta was not a coworker.
Yeah.
So they wake up and Susie
and they're telling her like, you're not at the right place.
Right. Something happened.
Everything's okay.
Yes.
Come remember.
Yeah.
And then there's a hot sex scene.
Yep.
There's some champagne poured on some.
Yep.
Cartoon CGI boobs.
Yes.
I will say the animation's really good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny, and I didn't pause it on one of the nude scenes because I'm some sort of weird pervert.
I have to study each frame.
But I think I was watching this in the car.
Not driving.
No. But I was. Where was I?
It's like a Family Guy when Peter's reading a comic book and driving at the same time. I
was like not at a stoplight. I was in a parking lot. Anyway, so it stopped and was buffering, and at the point where it stopped, there was a nude scene, and it didn't look good. It was like, oh wow, that's like it looked so fluid and natural a moment ago, but now here in the pausing of it, it looked weird. But yeah, so there's
and there's a cheesy song, something like "Sipping in the Shadows,"
right? Which was a very heavy metal moment,
like from the band. From the movie. Yeah, the movie heavy metal, not like a heavy metal song.
No, it was like a top 40 AOR song. But
and then he's having a good time with her, and he's known her. He had a fling with her in the past.
Yes.
So then he goes back because I guess she was sick. The one that was working with her.
Yes.
Working with him, Susie, and he wakes her up again.
Right.
And and Greta shows up, and she's just like, that's not Greta. What the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Something. And then they're fighting again.
Right.
And then they're like, let's just put it back in the chamber.
Yes.
And then they'll go back in the room.
Right.
And they're sleeping in bed. And Greta starts saying things like, I could just like watch you just sit there or something.
It's a little weird. Yeah,
it's starting to get weird. And then you find
Is this at the point where you're starting to get like scared? Because this is when I was like...
Well, I was more... Yeah, because at this point, you already know something's up.
Yeah.
I mean, you knew something was up right from the get-go.
Well, and it's also this show. I mean, like, there's going to be something.
At this point, you're already like... I mean...
You're like 6, 7 in.
3, 4, 5... This is the 7th episode.
Yeah.
So you already know shit's
You
gonna
know
be
the
weird.
rundown.
Yeah.
It's like,
You already had like smashed in heads,
right.
planets.
Yogurt
revealed.
takes over the planet. Yeah.
I mean, at
right.
this point, anything could happen. So she says, he's like, "Where the hell am I?"
Yeah.
She's like, "Well, you're somewhere else. You're not here."
Right.
And then says something about like, "Will reveal to me what it is." And she's like, "You're not ready yet."
Right.
And then she's like, "I really just want to let you know I really care about you."
Yeah.
And he's like, starts smashing against the window. He's like, "Tell me,
Right.
let me know, blah blah blah." So then she's like, "All right, fine."
Yeah. She's
And
like,
then,
screw it. Yeah.
Okay, here you go, buddy.
But she's saying it in a nice way. I mean,
she's like, and as nice as Greta can.
Sure.
So then he wakes up, and you're just like, he's like emaciated.
Yeah, he's like
looks like
skeletal.
his hair is like long. He's got a beard. It looks like Dante's Inferno.
Yeah.
Like you're just like.
He looks like
First, I
Jim
thought-
Caviezel
I
in the
thought
last 5 minutes of the Passion of Christ, or
but
whatever.
not
I mean,
as anti-Semitic.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Less,
right.
less
There's
anti-Semitism in it. Just want to point out
Yeah.
that Killer Rift had zero anti-Semitism. I'm sure someone will find it. I didn't see it. I'm pretty good at sniffing it out.
Yeah.
Pretty good at, let me tell you the problem. Why was Greta blonde?
She did look a little Aryan.
Yeah, she did have blue eyes, blonde hair.
Right.
What's that about?
Right. So they pan out, and the guy in the cryotube is dead. It's
Yeah,
like
the
a
guy who
skeleton.
never woke up to begin
Right.
with. And then
There's a reason why he never woke up. He's been dead the whole time.
Yeah, he's been dead, and Susie is now dead too.
Probably, yeah, or at least like
She's dead.
Yeah,
I would
she's
say at this
dead.
point she's dead. He's just like, and he's completely emaciated. You see like his hip bones. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, clearly, and then like through the shadows,
Right.
the real Greta shows up.
But
and you see her figure.
Yep, and she's
it-
looking good so far, right?
It's like a butthole alien monster, and she's still
terrible-
talking.
Yeah.
She's like a spider monster from
I
hell.
care for all the lost souls.
Yeah,
Like,
she says that because she did say that
Yeah.
before, and then he screams, and you're like, but then he wakes up again in the cryogenic
Yeah.
chamber, and Greta is like, so I'm gonna, We'll move on to the next one soon, but that is the most frightening episode I saw.
It's terrifying.
And then they show you where they are too, the amount
Right.
of detail, the amount of they went to. Who the fuck knows? They're like in a
Right.
graveyard.
There's
And
a million ships
There's a
there,
bunch
yeah.
of other ships, and I think all those ships that spat through that thing went there. They didn't even they used the wrong coordinates, and they ended up in hell.
Yeah.
And it was some like parasitic space. I mean, she's probably just like a big space worm. I mean,
Yeah.
whatever. And clearly, probably has like pheromones that come off of her. She's probably just sucking life essence
Yeah.
out of them. So like the sex scenes are probably just her, the
Like,
monster, literally
feeding
just
off of them.
just feeding off his essence,
Yeah.
like, and not in a good way.
No. Okay, so I saw the little film first, and that's the same vibe I got. In the book version, the audiobook I listened to, only a fraction of this. They make a big deal about how the ship wasn't right to begin with,
Right.
And they had to rush to get it through customs or whatever. And they're like, oh, we'll just have a but they fucked something up and they got knocked off course.
Yeah.
And a fraction of the ships that go through these wormholes wind up in this place. Nobody knows where they go. They say, oh,
Yeah.
it must have exploded in the ether. No, they go to this place. And in the book,
I'm getting nightmares just talking about.
yeah,
this.
well, Greta's like a legitimately benign alien. She's like, this sucks for you all. I'll try to make you comfortable, And she keeps.
So this is a little more pleasant.
Yeah, well, I would say, yeah,
Not
it's
as
definitely.
not as horrifying.
It's horrifying in the sense that, like, this guy's she keeps waking him up, revealing her true self. He can't handle it. She puts him back to sleep. And they do it over and over again. And that's going to be it. Forever.
Clearly, everyone's dead,
Yeah.
but I mean, I get again. I don't know if this deserves deep discussion.
It's just a very terrifying story.
It's just shock value, and it's
Yeah.
scary as fuck.
It
It's
was.
like I said, I think the last time I was legitimately scared of something was like Nightmare on Elm Street 2 when I watched it at 8 years old.
Yeah. Is that the one where Freddy's arms go real wide?
I think that might be the first one.
Okay.
The second one is the one where he's ripping out of a kid.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
the kid is becoming Freddy.
Yes. Yeah, I remember
That's
that.
the first one I watched. I remember going to the video store might have been. I think it came out. I might have been like 9 or 10. And I remember telling my mom like they had a big cutout of Freddy, and I was like, I want to see that. And I watched horror movies. I saw Aliens in the theater at this point already. That movie, like I remember, I had to stop watching. I did finish it eventually, but that movie scared the shit out of me as a kid. Like, there's a lot. Like that one's very different from the other Freddy movies. Yeah. By the time you get to 3, it becomes kind of like a cartoon. Yeah. You get the Dream Warriors.
Yeah, like, I saw that one. Yeah.
Dream Warriors.
Right. Well, Freddy becomes like in the first one, he's a terrifying figure that's not really in it that often.
Right. It's like a spooky ghost with claws. But the second one is just like, there's all theories on the second one, but like he's ripping through the kid, and then like even like when he goes to like, it always ends like in some kind of boiler place or a factory.
And there's like atmospheric
steam
noises
and pipes.
But
there's these dogs with people faces. And I'm sure if I saw it now, it probably looks like crap.
Probably.
But that scared the crap.
It may still be scary.
Maybe. You know? It scared the shit out of me. So I would say I don't think I've been scared. I don't know why. Like, and it, like I wasn't like, ugh, like I wasn't good, but like it just gave me like weird feelings where and it, you know, it's a mind fuck too, because you know your reality.
Little Matrixy.
Maybe we are right now being just Greta's just fucking just sucking the essence, and she's like, you can make a podcast.
Yeah, right.
It's okay. Greta's here. Greta's here.
Well, I think it's terrifying because it's like that's probably a real common fundamental fear as an adult, is that like nothing matters and it's going to go on. It's like a little Groundhog's Day, a little Matrix, it's like all the worst parts of all
How long could he possibly
those.
live though? He's like pretty fucking emaciated at this point.
Yeah, I guess if you're hooked up to like, if you're in stasis, and I'd imagine there's machines on the ship that keep you alive and stuff.
But the machines were dead.
Yeah.
So whatever this monster has, she must have some like poisons or pheromones that just like knocks them out.
That's true.
Because that ship was nothing's working anymore.
Right.
That thing is like, I mean, it was a graveyard. I mean, and who knows how long they were there. Well, he could have woken up. This could be like thousands of years later. You don't even know. Like
in the scene when he wakes up, and I know it's CGI, but the lighting is so good, and it's like, I was disoriented when I first saw him waking up.
I thought they were going to show that they were in hell at first, but it's that's what I thought at first. But I mean, it's still hell.
I thought it was
a literal hell. They're in the middle of nowhere in space. There's no getting out of this.
It was like what's that one with the space horror movie? They go through a black hole or something, and they go to hell.
Sam Neill in that?
Yeah,
I know exactly. It's
a great movie. I mean, it's a bad movie, but it's a great movie.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. And then she wakes up like frightened the shit out of like
right.
Yeah.
Damn. It's like that.
Yeah. I would say this is scary.
Right. All right. Well, definitely a highlight for this one.
Yeah.
And the next one was
The Dump.
Yeah.
Oh no, Good Hunting.
Good Hunting.
I like this one a lot too. You said you didn't really care for it.
I didn't love it. The animation was beautiful. I loved watching it. I didn't. The story is.
Now again, it's like, you know, some people could say like, oh, the problem, because it's like, okay, so. But I would say that they're both they're both victims, both characters. He's experiencing it on a different level too. So the beginning, this is like a more traditional animation.
Yes.
I think it's definitely one of the best ones animation-wise.
Definitely like Asian inspired.
Yeah, it's got like
anime
Disney-ish too.
Yeah.
Classic Disney. Like it's fluid and.
It reminded me almost like of Princess Mononoke. Remember Princess Mononoke?
Yeah.
Kind of that vibe.
So they're like, it's him and his father, they're like hunters or something. They hunt these magic creatures, these women that, I guess, in theory, they are preying on men, but they're really shapeshifters. They're like foxes or whatever. He kills. Yes. The father kills him. He gets a reward. At first, he thinks his father's like, is doing good, but he's really just profiting off of these things getting killed.
It's like the Suits dynamic. You think they might be good guys, but they're not good guys.
But but that's like a small part of it, and then there's like a massive dynamic shift. So he befriends one of the I guess there's like a pup or whatever. Yes. Or even though she's naked in mid transition, and they become friends.
Yeah,
and they have they don't have like a It's probably more platonic.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't get into that.
I just watched this once. I don't remember it.
But it takes. You almost think it's like ancient China or something, or
Yes.
like, and then it shows that like, then he's like talking about the first train coming through town, and then it
Right.
gets like real steampunky and real like sci-fi.
That's probably why it reminded me of Monteoki.
Yeah,
It's
but it goes from like ancient China to like this imaginary late 1800s that doesn't exist.
Right.
Where
Alternate
automatons
history.
and
Yeah.
like you got like blimps flying.
Yeah, steampunk.
Yeah,
kind of-
steampunk. Definitely a steampunk vibe to this. But the Fox girl, they interact with each other throughout life. She ends up becoming like a prostitute.
Yeah.
But I guess in a way they were they always like kind of like prostitutes? They would like trick
Kind of.
men or something, supposedly.
Right.
But
Like-
the magic is gone. She can't transform anymore.
Yes, a little American Godsy type of vibe.
Right, because
yeah.
of this. Once the revolution, the
Always
industrial
gone.
revolution, magic doesn't exist anymore.
Yes.
And then she's like a prostitute, and he's now like the country was taken over by the British, I guess.
Yeah, probably like Opium Wars.
Yeah,
era,
they're racist. They say racist shit to him throughout the whole thing.
Yes.
But he's working, and he's really into like, well, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, we could go. I don't know great details, but like.
It was a beautiful piece of animation.
What was the problem?
What was the problem? Yeah, I don't. This is another one that someone might point to and say it was problematic. I don't see that. I see it as like a pretty straightforward.
It's a revenge thing. Okay, so is Kill Bill now a misogynist?
I wonder.
movie?
Do you
is that no? Kill Bill's amazing.
Oh yeah, no. Look,
But
you don't gotta
if you criticize these things and say that there's a problem with that,
Yeah.
there's a problem with Kill Bill.
yeah,
She's
it's the same thing. Yeah,
yeah, it is exactly the same thing.
Right.
But again, her character grows. Her character ends up defeating. She goes on a journey as an arc,
right.
and she is the protagonist, right?
Oh yeah,
I always
she's
get
the
those
protagonist.
wrong, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And she kicks the shit out of people, and she wants to get her daughter back. She was wronged by Bill. Sorry, we're spoiling that. We could do a whole podcast.
Well, it's
I love
called
that
Kill
series.
Bill.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
they kind of spoiled the title.
Yeah,
but how they kill Bill,
Right.
is
Yes.
pretty cool actually.
Right.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna criticize that, then you need to go back and criticize every fucking thing made because, like, you ever seen I Spit on Your Grave?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's sensational.
That's super.
But-
Yeah, that's like
It's a fucking horror movie.
well, they call
They're
that like
not-
an exploitation.
Yeah,
film.
but again,
Yeah.
she gets revenge. She gets raped, and then
does.
she gets revenge.
She spits on their graves.
Yeah, literally sits
Yeah.
on the graves. But it is and it's violent, and
Yep.
but she wins in the end.
Yeah, remember the powerboat scene? Didn't she
Yeah.
kill the last guy
Yeah.
with like a powerboat?
I think so.
Like-
Yeah. Yeah, I like the
That's a
way she
tough
kills.
way to
Like,
go.
there's like the slow one. She kind of kills him nicely,
Right.
And then there's like the one she just cuts the guy's dick off his
Yeah,
head or something,
right.
I mean, like, but again, it's like, okay, so you just can't fucking watch anything anymore. That is insane. Okay, so like, I don't really want to get into this one, but I'm just gonna say it. Like, there was a Batman cover that came out years ago.
Oh.
It was a Batgirl cover.
Oh, okay.
So
Was it how many years ago? Because I have like
Okay.
a bunch of.
this
recent
was like probably
Batgirls.
like 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay. I
So
might have this.
are you familiar with? You ever read The Killing Joke?
Oh yeah.
When the Joker shows up,
Yep.
he shoots Batgirl.
Yes.
He paralyzes her.
Right. Turns her into the Oracle.
She becomes the Oracle eventually. Not right there.
Right.
Yeah.
But that sets into
right.
Yeah.
And then what they did was they did the New 52,
Right.
where they still acknowledged that she was paralyzed. They don't really give an explanation.
Okay.
She's not the Oracle anymore. She's Batgirl again.
Right.
And she's kind of wearing like it's like a tight outfit, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like
I don't
high-tech
know what-
looking.
Yes.
This is when New 52. And then they decided they're going to change Batgirl. They got this new team to come in.
Yeah.
I think one of the artists, the guy who does the Fight Club series, which I
Okay.
find ironic, he does the
Yeah,
Fight Club
yeah.
series, he came up with a redesign for Batgirl. They're not even using this costume anymore.
Is this the one with like the big yellow boots? And okay.
Yeah,
I
they're not even using this anymore. They've moved
Right.
on to a more traditional
have like
Batgirl
3
outfit.
trade paperbacks of that series.
What do you think of it? I mean, it was like okay,
Well,
right?
I
I like this costume. I thought it was interesting.
I did. I liked it a lot. Oddly enough, I bought it to read with Pixie.
Yeah.
And it was a little adult for Pixie. So
not
I read,
right now.
No.
Maybe, yeah.
But I read them and I liked them just
Yeah,
fine.
okay, but there was a cover that was supposed to get made.
Okay.
And they ended up pulling it because people found a problem with it on the internet.
Really? What was
Okay.
because
So
all
the
the
Joker,
trade...
the Joker comes back or something.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think a crossover comic.
Okay.
And the Joker is like full evil Joker.
Sure.
He's like, I think this is like around the time where he had like his face was sewn back on. You ever seen that
Oh,
version of the Joker?
yeah.
So he's
Yeah.
full evil, like pure murderous Joker. And there was, I don't know if it was a variant cover or if it was a regular cover. They had it where the Joker is holding her. He's behind her. He's
Yeah.
holding her. And he's got like almost like a smiley face drawn on her. Like he's wiping it.
Huh.
And people flipped the fuck out.
Okay.
I thought it was the most amazing cover I ever saw. And I didn't say it because, oh yeah, take that.
Right.
Because there's history. There's the joke, because even with the New 52, even though she wasn't paralyzed, they still acknowledge that story.
Yeah.
Her character grew. Her character was he almost killed her. He came to her apartment and shot her.
Right.
So, to me, this made sense. Like, this cover, it's like you read the comics for years.
Yeah.
They were like, there was so much outrage. They're like, how dare you victimize
I
women?
don't remember
How
that.
dare you do this? This was not like DC. They just ended up pulling it.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I'll have to look.
This was like one of the most like the best covers ever made.
Hmm.
And it and again, it's because there's so much history.
Yeah.
And the Joker's evil.
Right.
But again, it's like, okay, well, you know what? Obviously, that gets you to buy the comic.
Yeah.
You know, Batgirl's going to be victorious in some way,
Right.
or maybe she won't be. I don't know. She wasn't in Killing Joke.
I wasn't in Killing Joke.
Right.
Yeah. Well, she was like Barbara Gordon. I mean, I guess she was Batgirl.
She was Batgirl.
Yeah.
They
she
just wanted to get rid of that character
Right.
altogether because they wanted Batman to not really have like all these
Attachments
hokey.
and, yeah.
Well, they didn't want Batman to have all these hokey. It was getting to the point where he had like Batdog.
Yeah. Batgirl.
So they wanted to like get rid. They wanted him to just be like. They killed Robin off shortly
Yes.
after that. So they just wanted him to be like a solo.
Yeah, I get
Yeah,
that.
and
I get
then
that.
but then again, there's growth. It's like then there was a new Robin that comes in, and then your characters grow.
Right.
And I was just like, who is offended by this cover?
Yeah,
like,
I don't
these are
remember
people
that.
who don't read. These are people who never picked up a Batman comic before. That's who was offended by it.
Yeah.
These are the same people that, you know, there's a famous guy who like claimed that comics were like making people into like gay people and punks.
Oh, jeez.
Do you remember
Okay.
this in the 50s?
I don't.
It's a famous. I forgot his name. You can look it
Yeah.
up, but he is like famous for like. Is like EC Comics with the horror.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And like they ended up having to like go to Congress. I mean,
Oh
it was
my
getting,
God.
it was so they created that label that would be on comics.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the authority. But to me, that's no fucking different. I was just
Yeah.
like, I'm
I don't
not
know.
defending it, but this is like it's
Yeah.
a story. There's conflict. If your character does
Right.
not, your character, the hero, has to face conflict, or you're just watching a dumb Saturday morning
Yeah.
cartoon where He-Man beats up Skeletor every day, and it's like, who cares?
Yeah, I think I don't know. That I agree with you. I mean, like, I think that
Good.
I wonder like I wonder how many like true fans of the genre like see those. You know what I mean? Like, I
Because
wonder if
even
there's,
like female fans who were familiar with it, I'm sure were not offended by that. They
Right.
were like, yeah, that like the Joker's. You want to elevate the Joker, and Batgirl's like, you know.
Yeah.
That is like if a character fucking is the reason why you were in a wheelchair for 5
Right,
years
right.
shows up. Well, you guess what? You might be a little frightened.
Well, and the Joker's like such a wild card. I mean, it's
Literally.
Like, yeah, I didn't mean to say it that way, but he's so that's I don't know. That's an odd one. I got to look through those.
But that's like when I was reading those, like, and all these criticisms, and I just thought of that, and I was like,
well, like I said, the criticisms I've read were very loud, but they only center around a few. And most of them, I always get skeptical when someone makes a judgment about a big work based off the first 10 pages or the first...
Yeah.
Because I'm like, how much of this did you watch? You know, like...
Yeah.
And I think maybe some of these critics watched Sunny's Edge first and then immediately went to their
Yeah.
Twitter before they really watched the whole... You can feel
but
how you want to feel about
I
any
feel
of
like there
this,
was a
you know?
narrative because I saw it in multiple articles.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like they're saying the same shit, and I'm just
Right, right.
which is kind of how things go anyway.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
end up regurgitating the same thing over, you know,
Right.
the same article, kind of clickbait. All right, well, let's just go to the next one.
Yeah,
So good hunting, whatever.
Oh,
the
and
good
then-
hunting ends where she kind of gets revenge. Thanks to
Yes.
him, and
It's
the-
actually-
well, it's almost like magic meets science.
Yeah.
She got to be her magical form again thanks to technology.
Right,
It was
like
like,
a
it was like a
robotic,
full
yeah.
circle. She becomes like she's able to become like.
Well, it's like the old Dying Earth Jack Vance, where it's like magic and technology are kind of indistinguishable
Yeah.
for practical purposes.
That's one thing I always think people like about the new Marvel movies is that that's kind of how they almost explain magic.
Yeah.
The way they handle Thor
Right.
and they handle Doctor Strange is that there is a science to what they're doing.
Yes. Yeah.
So
they've definitely gone more science fiction, like in that science way, you know.
So my wife or something went to a grocery store.
Yeah.
And this is awesome. So the bagger or whatever, I don't know who. I'm not gonna tell you what store. I'm
Sure.
not gonna tell you where it is, and I'm not making this up.
Yeah.
This is real. So they were talking about movies or something, and the guy had been on the spectrum a little bit.
Okay,
but,
sure.
But he was going on about Marvel.
Okay.
And he actually made a really good point,
Let's hear it.
or at least the movies, because the Marvel ones have. He likes that there's a scientific explanation.
Okay.
And I was like, he's actually right.
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you look at the Marvel movies or something like that, there is a, and this is not a knock on it,
Right.
any other stuff. It's just there's almost like they're sort of grounded in a way.
Yeah.
There is almost like there's explanations like Iron Man's technology.
Right.
His stuff is all technology based.
Yeah, Black Panther too.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
thanks to the magic metal, but
Right.
it is all.
Yeah, but it's-
his sister makes all these amazing.
Yeah.
And,
His cue. His
yeah,
cue.
yeah, literally, yeah. And so, I don't know, just
Yeah.
a good little point he brought up, and I was like, and then we were making a joke, and I was like, we should just have him on the podcast.
Yeah, right? Well, gosh. I think
He'll be our first guest.
that'd be good, yeah.
I hope we don't regret it.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes, like, if he's like super fan, then sometimes that can go either way. But yeah, okay. So then from
Let me call
well, Good Hunting ends, and I thought that I guess the more I think about it, the more I like it. I guess
I liked it because it just, it's like, it's full circle, but it's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just,
It's beautiful to look at,
beautiful,
yeah.
and the amount of detail, even though
Right.
it's like animation, there's so much detail. in it.
yes, it is. It is kind of like that Studio Ghibli kind of
Yeah.
type. Okay, so then came The Dump, which
That
I
was
didn't-
okay.
Yeah,
That's like another 3 robots.
right.
I don't think we need to go into it too
No.
much.
It was fine.
So was the monster the dog, or was the dog part of the monster? Was the dog? Because remember, he's like stabbing it, and you hear
Right,
the dog
right.
go. "Arr!"
Yeah.
Was the monster was the dog at the center of the monster,
I didn't think so. That's not.
or was it just part of it?
I thought it was like a part of it, like not an appendix.
Because I almost feel like, it's almost like it is the dog is that thing,
Right.
And because it is like a dog.
Yeah,
And-
I guess that makes more sense. I don't know. I feel terrible saying this. I didn't super love this one right from the get go.
There's nothing.
And
it is CGI.
Yeah.
But there's a style to it.
Yep.
The characters are exaggerated.
Yes.
But it's super detailed.
It's
It's still photoreal looking
Yes.
elements.
I think here's the thing. I knew when I sat down that I had a lot of these to go through.
Yeah.
And that made me very impatient with the ones that weren't great.
Yeah. I would say this is like a C+.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm flipping YouTube and this is one of the videos I come across that day, it's probably one of the better videos I see that
Yeah.
day. Nothing. I don't want to disparage it in any sense, but some of
It looks amazing.
Yeah.
It's
Again,
just the content. It's okay.
it was fine.
All right.
Yeah.
So shapeshifters.
Yeah.
That's the werewolves one.
I don't love werewolves.
What was the problem with that? No, I was kidding.
Yeah. Well.
Where were the female werewolves? No, it's okay.
This was in Afghanistan, right? It was like a war.
Yeah, and there's obviously they use these guys who at first you don't realize there's clearly something up with these two guys.
Right.
They're like super soldiers, but they keep calling them dogs. But then you find out later they're just full blown werewolves.
Wasn't there a movie, an Australian movie, 5-6 years ago called War Dogs or something? And it was basically this. It was a unit
Maybe.
of soldiers
I don't
that
know.
were werewolves.
Possibly, I didn't see it.
I don't know.
I can't handle foreign movies.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding. I can't.
Do you think-
I can't? I can't read subtitles.
Would lycanthropy be genetic? Or do you have to... if I got bit by a werewolf...
From I feel like in this world, it was so much genetic.
Yeah.
I don't feel like They was like, I'm gonna bite you and turn you into a werewolf. It's like almost
Right.
like you have to be born into this. Like,
Yeah.
that's like, I don't know. They don't go into that great of detail.
Yeah.
But there's obviously like bigotry and racism within the army, and you know, he goes out to fight the evil. Well, I wouldn't say they're evil werewolves, but they killed his
his
friend or
litter mate.
His pupper.
It was fine.
It was okay.
Yeah.
I mean, again, visually it's cool.
Right.
Not their best one.
Werewolves just never made sense to me because, like, structurally, do their bones change? I mean, it's just
it's funny because you talk about the Good Hunting. I mean, their bones change. It's magic.
That seems more magical. Like, werewolves are supposed to be like, I don't know.
Well, again, you could go into now that this kid who talks about the Hulk. Right?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Okay. So
the
like
pants conundrum.
Well, not even just that.
Yeah.
Where's all the? Okay, so the Hulk.
Right.
He turned, and this is stupid. Actually, somebody said we're a bunch of nerds. That was one of the comments I got today.
Oh, yeah. Well,
because he was listening to our podcast, and he's like, "Man, you guys are a bunch of nerds." I'm like, "Thanks."
Yeah. I mean,
I mean, that's what we're doing. Fair enough. I mean, we're overanalyzing these movies.
Yeah.
That's if anything, that's a compliment.
We did spend a few minutes figuring out wormhole technology versus
and I think what's his face tried to do. Ang Lee tried to do that in the first Hulk movie.
Okay.
He wanted to almost explain like where the mass went.
Yeah.
Well, no, actually, he didn't. He tried to almost like scientifically how a man could turn into a Hulk or something like that. And the movie was terrible. But the one thing about the Hulk that never made sense is like, okay, so you turn into this giant 9-foot monster, and now you turn back.
Yeah. It's like,
do you just take like a giant shit?
Yeah, well,
like where does it go? Does he melt and he comes out? And like clearly he doesn't. He just shrinks down.
Yeah,
he just gets smaller. He calms down.
And his pants.
That is a residual fact. His clothes does get destroyed because he does turn into a monster.
Like in the old TV show, like Lou Ferrigno was like a reasonably sized.
He was like 6'3".
Yes.
They made him look bigger on TV.
Right, the camera angles and stuff.
Yeah.
But like you could say, okay, I can see how that would maybe happen. Once I get hit by a golf ball in my leg and the thing swelled up really big. I'm not saying like Hulk big, but it was like, wow, okay, that's a big
Well,
amount.
I get we're overanalyzing it, but that's where if this kid was here, we would say, okay, prove that to us.
We gotta book this guy.
Let's get him. This is gonna be we're gonna get like 8 new viewers out of this.
All right, so yeah, we go to
Helping Hand.
This is the gravity one.
Okay,
right.
What's the problem with this one? Well, there is no problem.
There's no problem with this one.
The main the main is one character, right?
Yep. It's a woman and she talks to a disembodied.
But how dare she struggle and try to achieve something?
Yes. Well, so it's a woman, and it's basically a ripoff of Gravity. I
didn't even see Gravity. The only thing I seen was the Neil deGrasse Tyson flip out.
Yeah. Well, Gravity starts with like a 20-minute single shot, and Sandra. I'm going to spoil Gravity here. Sandra Bullock's working on a thing, and the Russians, those rascally Russians, they like scuttled a thing, and it fell. And anyway, like shrapnel gets her.
Yeah.
And so this woman in Helping Hand is hit with like a screwdriver or something.
Yep. So she's floating off into space, and she has to find a way to get back to her ship.
Right.
And it involves throwing it. I guess the force of throwing an object pushes her.
Yeah. Well, I'm not convinced that would really be how that works.
Well, she throws her first object.
Yeah.
And she misses.
Right.
And then she takes off her glove.
Well, yeah, okay, so let me throw she's like, hey, and she's running out of oxygen because her suit was torn.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, hey, chill, because we're going to get you, we can rescue you in 50 minutes. She's got 15 minutes of oxygen, and then it leaks even further, and she's got like 2 minutes left to live.
Yeah.
And it's a terrifying death. And so she takes off her glove.
And her hands, she throws the glove first.
Right.
And it misses or whatever, what she was trying to do. So then, because she took the glove off, when you're in space, I guess space. I've never been in space.
It's probably cold.
Yeah, I heard it's a little cold in there.
In fact, it's cold as hell.
Yeah.
Rocket Man. Well, anyway, so her forearm freezes.
Yep.
And she
breaks it off.
rips it off.
Yep.
Like,
And she, even though
Dear
it probably is frozen and has no feeling,
Yep.
so it still hurts as fucking hell.
it's
And
just psychically terrifying.
Yeah, and but she survives.
Yep.
Spoiler.
Yes.
And you see her in her ship, and she's she's got a little
Right.
boo boo now.
I thought she was, because she tourniquets her.
Yeah, I thought she was gonna die for a second, but I'm glad she got on the ship. So
I thought
a happy ending.
I thought for sure she was going to release the tourniquet and her blood shooting out of her arm was going to propel her back to her ship.
Yeah, I don't think that's how it would work.
Well, none of that's how it would work.
Yeah.
But like, I thought that's what's going to happen. I was a little disappointed.
I want Neil deGrasse Tyson to see this episode.
Well,
I want to see what he says.
I read a review today of it.
I want him to see what the problem is.
This was on. It's a weird website. I've never heard of it. It's called like whatsonnetflix.com. And they basically explained the ending to all of these. Like, if you were unclear on none of these have complicated endings, but like if you were unclear,
The twist.
right? And they said that like this for all of them, they were like real like cheerleadery, but for this one, they're like this would never work, and Alex will probably be dead before like she gets her spaceship started again.
Well, regardless, I'm glad she got in there.
Yeah, good for her.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, permanently made for life, but
Well-
I'm sure she's against sci-fi. She'll get a cool prosthetic.
It was clever. Yes, you look. You got to hand it to her because she
Why? Wait, I don't get. Why?
because her hand like
No, I just don't get it. What do you? Is this a joke?
yeah, that was it. Like, right?
Well, let's give her a hand. I'm glad she survived.
Yes. Probably.
She's a hands-on.
Yes. Right. All right. So then what was the next one? Helping it. Oh,
Fish Night.
What did you think of that?
It was this cool animation. I didn't care.
It was cool.
Like it was supposed to, but it's like these salesmen get like lost in a desert
Yeah.
or car breaks down or something,
Right.
and I guess they have help coming or whatever, but they
But
got away.
ghost fish come.
Well, he talks about how where they are that in the beginning, before man or whatever. That
Yeah.
they're in the desert or whatever, but this was the ocean.
Right.
Not. I'm like, my arms are in Joe's kitchen right now.
Yeah.
This is not the ocean. Maybe it
No,
was.
but they were in like what used to be the ocean. in
Right.
the
So all of a
primordial
sudden, out
time.
of nowhere,
a school
I
of fish
have
come.
fever
Yeah.
dreams, but it's all like prehistoric stuff.
Yes,
because like
yeah.
that shark thing shows
Right,
up.
the megalodon or whatever.
Yeah. Which
It was cool.
Yeah, it was cool. Visually cool. What was the problem?
Well, I'll tell you here. I and this is the first time I'm going to bring this up is that in my head I put these like in 3 different buckets.
I like the style of it.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
One, I think you could put all these episodes into 3 different piles. You had heavy metal episodes,
Mm-hmm.
you had MTV Liquid Television episodes, and then you had Steven Spielberg's Amazing Story episodes.
Yeah.
And this was an Amazing Story episode, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, it still has a dark ending, though.
It's
Amazing Stories did. Yeah, the Amazing Stories still had some darkness to it.
Remember the Amazing
But they
Story
always, like, a little
episode
more-
where like the train it was like a ghost train?
They were supposed to bring back Amazing Stories.
Yeah, that they
Is
should.
it? I don't know. Yeah.
Well, it's okay. So I think this is an amazing story.
Yeah.
Darker than you would find.
Did you ever see the Mark Hamill episode?
Which one? You'd have to.
Okay, well, I'll just go through quick at this one. This one's a great. I remember as a kid really enjoying this
Steven
one.
Spielberg is an anthology series. Not Twilight Zone.
Well, it's
ish.
yeah. In the realm anthology, there's some kind of supernatural or magic or
Yes.
otherworldly or whatever. Everything has like some kind of fantasy element. to it.
Right.
So this one, Mark Hamill, it takes place in the beginning, like in the 30s, and
Okay.
like he's approached by like a magical elf.
Okay.
thing, played by a little person.
Tim Conway.
Yes, the dwarf. Yeah, This episode did not age well, and actually, the whole Dwarf on Golf series came out of.
He was motionless.
Yeah, he just moved, swaying back and forth. Yeah,
I remember this episode.
Yeah.
This was amazing.
yeah.
Please continue.
Yeah. Okay.
Please.
So Mark Hamill is like younger, and he's about to like go on in life. This is right
Okay.
after Return of the Jedi came out, but he's still pretty young. And the guy's like, I don't know what he says to him, but like he's just like hold on to everything, and
Okay.
it's like one of these weird and then they show him later on in life. He's like middle ages, like he's like in his middle ages, 60s. Like his life's a failure.
Right.
He's got a truck full of like crap, and
Yeah.
I guess he sees the elf again. He's like, you told me to do this,
Right.
and then in the end of the episode, he's like an old man now. But people see like what he has. Now I don't know what the message in this episode is.
What
like,
does he have?
He has like all these amazing things from the 30s. He has Marvel Comics #1.
Okay.
He has all these.
Oh, he said, yeah.
And so he becomes like super rich in the end.
Huh.
And he's like a rich old man.
Right.
But I don't.
Yeah. Like,
What's the moral of this episode? Like,
hoard.
Yeah, hoard your shit. Don't do anything in life, and hope that.
I still had that issue of ROM #1.
Yeah, ROM #1. I don't think it has the same value.
I'd be on Easy Street
I have
right
that
now.
copy of Youngblood. I'm gonna be so rich. You know, my wife's like, get rid of these comics. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Darkhawk #1.
Oh, right.
I got Savage Dragon.
Wow.
Dude,
Okay.
I'm gonna. It's like my kid's college fund.
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
it's not like I can just go to a comic store now and get it for in their dollar bin. No offense.
Right,
to
yeah.
Savage Dragon.
Of course
Space.
not.
Well, Rom Space Knight, you could probably get $20 for that. I think.
Oh,
I could be
man.
wrong.
I had that boxed and boarded. It was like...
That's a gem. Hold on to that. Okay.
Okay, so
well,
yeah,
that
the
was
fish one was... I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucky 13 is the next one. It's a kind of odd one because it's CGI,
Yep.
but I noticed the actress immediately, and I don't know her. I forgot her name.
But she's from Orange is the New Black.
Her character died.
Right,
They killed her off, but she was like the first 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And this ship like kills people.
Yes.
And she's like assigned the ship.
Well, it's an unlucky ship, and it's a troop transport ship.
And that was one of the complaints people had.
Oh.
They saw this as like a insult to women or something.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm just like...
Okay, I don't see that at all. This was
well, because you're
well, no, this was
patriarchy and
this was like look. I love this episode. It's not the best one. It's probably an average one.
They were saying like because the ship was doing everything and not her. That's not true.
That's not true at all. She
The
was
ship because of her. The ship was the
she
thing.
turned the ship's luck around.
Yeah.
The ship at the very end, the ship became sentient. But
Well,
it was
it's like it always
like,
was.
Yeah, it always was.
Because it's like what happened. Like they were being invaded or whatever, and she was trying to self-destruct the ship, and the ship wouldn't blow up.
Right,
but when she was willing to almost sacrifice herself for the
Right.
ship,
Then
when
the
she
ship
gets
blew.
up and starts to shoot, the ship's like, okay, that's
Yeah.
all. That's all I needed.
Right. Well,
I just need to know you cared.
to me, this was, in the best way, Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
You know, the action scenes of Starship Troopers. I thought it was a great episode. For me, you know, I mean, I admit it's probably like a middle of the road one for this anthology, but
Yeah, I don't think it's the best one, but it definitely stands out.
the CGI was amazing.
Yeah, CGI is amazing.
was
And like I
really
said,
good.
I knew it was her, but I knew she was kind of like CGI. But I swear, in the end of the episode,
You think it was really her?
It like it all of a sudden became like her, and not like a CGI version of her. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I have to like rewatch it. It was kind of odd because everyone else, like I knew, like I said, it was modeled off of her, and that was her voice, and
Right.
I knew it was the actress. But I swear, the end of it when it was all done, and it kind of just focused on her.
Right.
At that point, it was like
It
an
could have
actress,
been.
green screen. I don't know.
Well, I watched this on my phone as well. I watched this one twice. Just
On your
because
phone twice?
Yeah,
Okay.
I really liked it. Well, like we have a TV in the bedroom and we have one upstairs. And if I watch TV in bed, then I'll fall asleep.
Yeah.
And Amanda was watching some show where they buy houses or something. You know, it's like and she my wife was
Well,
not
what was
going
the problem with that?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what the problem with that was.
That
They-
was on TV.
Yeah, it's
they're
like-
horrible people usually in those shows.
Well, see, I've seen that meme on like Facebook a million times where it's like the guy is like a butterfly collector and the wife like sews buttons on lint and their budget for the house is like 2.6 million. You know, and it's like they all are like
Trust
criminally.
my kids.
Yeah, they're trustworthy.
My
kids.
favorite thing is, and I won't spend too much time on this, but like like those like housewives shows.
Yeah, yeah.
So my wife Leah like loves watching those shows sometimes.
Sure.
Like it's like a guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
I always like she'll make fun of me for things, and I'll bring up like you watch this
Right.
garbage. I mean,
Yeah.
and these people are horrible.
They're
They're
yeah.
just. I mean, it's
They are
vap-
the most Isley of humans.
Yeah, it's
a
vapid,
wretched hive
yeah.
of scum and villainy.
pretty much.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing about those shows are when they kind of show the husbands.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's like 2 different kinds of husbands on those shows. There's the enthusiastic ones that kind of want to be on the show.
Right. Yeah.
too,
Yes.
and that's kind of entertaining.
Yeah.
It's always like,
Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a possibility on that.
Yeah.
And then there's like the ones that don't want to be on TV because they make their money in a shady way.
Yeah. Right.
Like they're just like they walk by, they're just like.
Right.
And did you see the show Happy?
No.
They kind of hate on that because the mob boss's wife is on a reality show. That's like a big part of that.
Right.
I highly recommend it. Happy's on Sci-Fi. It's about a guy who's an assassin. He used to be a cop. And
is there a sci-fi element?
Well, yeah, because he's followed around by an imaginary character.
Oh,
Patton Oswalt voices him. The imaginary character
is a giant rabbit.
Well, it's like a weird little unicorn flying blue thing that follows him around.
Oh,
and he's like, it's his. I'm not going to ruin that show because we're not going on. But there's a little girl who has it, and somehow he ends up seeing the girl's imaginary character.
Oh, okay.
And it becomes a sidekick.
Oh.
And they go on like investigations. Show is violent as fuck.
Is it good? It's good.
It's very good.
Huh.
Very stylized. Very well done, especially for sci-fi. Like sci-fi has definitely moved up its quality over the years. I mean, they've always had good stuff. I like Farscape, but there's some garbage on there. They were known for their really bad movies.
Yes, Asylum productions. Right. Yeah,
but one of the things they make fun of, they touch on this, is what I was talking about, where it's like the shady husband,
right?
And I swear, half those shows, like there's always like some guy, and you know that he's like a gun runner.
Yeah, right.
He's like, he's a war profiteer. Okay,
yeah.
So then we go to Zima Blue.
Right, and Zima Blue is the other one that was written by Alastair Reynolds. This is written by the same guy who did the horrifying Beyond the Aegeus Rift.
Oh, it is same?
Yeah, same. And this one was not terrifying.
No, I liked it. It's definitely art. I mean, it's artsy. Yeah. It has a more. I mean,
the robot is an artist.
Well, you just ruined it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you just ruined the whole entire.
Well,
Okay,
that's not
we are ruining it. I don't. We're not going to get into it. I feel like that's like a nice, pleasant one. It's pleasant. It's a pleasant episode. The style is very cool.
Yep.
It's a very different style from everything else. It has almost like a look like Batman animated series a little bit.
Yeah, I would say so.
Sort of. And more angular. And what's that one from Liquid Television? Aeon Flux.
Yeah, right.
But like more shaded, like shadows. Like it looks painterly.
Would you say this has a happy ending?
Well, again, it's like full circle, and it's like a character. He wanted to go back to his roots. It's like he accomplished everything, and it's like this little blue chip.
Right.
It's like it just kept on getting bigger and bigger, and it's like he just wanted to go back to what he was. It's like he was like became the most famous artist and like whatever. He's like the most famous individual, and he just wanted to go back to like being what he was and what his
I won't
because I guess in a way he was not given a choice to become that. He was just a simple all right, we're ruining it.
Yeah,
he's like you learn at first she thinks that he's this famous artist who got his body altered on his own to become a robot, but then you find out in reality he talks about a little skimmer robot in a pool.
Yes. And
the girl the house, she was like a scientist or robotics expert.
Sure.
She like loved this little robot. And
Roomba.
Yeah, it was basically a Roomba but in your pool.
Pool Roomba.
He just skimmed and cleaned the tiles. And it was Zima Blue. The episode's called Zima Blue, which is what the tile color was.
Yes.
Which is kind of funny. It breaks it down that it's just some color, like a Pantone color or whatever. Yeah. And, it just shows how she evolved him and gave him more free will. He can clean the pools now, not as simple instructions. But then, like, over time, he evolved, but it wasn't his choice.
Yeah.
It was like other people were, because she dies, and then other people who owned him were evolving him too, to the point where he was able to kind of just be his own thing, his own person.
He thought that freedom was a little stifling, which is a weird.
But it was. I guess it almost makes sense because it's like, even though he was like imprisoned to just doing this simple task, it wasn't his choice to become that thing. So it's like full circle, and he accomplishes everything, and maybe he forgets what he was because he's super intelligent now, and he's like haunted by this. He's an artist, and he makes these insane paintings, these masterful paintings, and he starts installing a little blue tile in the middle.
Yeah,
and it's like and who knows, maybe he doesn't realize why he's doing it.
Yeah.
It's like he wants to go back to that simplicity, and then the blue tile gets bigger, and it's super scientific.
It's
where the
just a-
tile's
yeah.
the size of a planet. I mean, it's like those crazy. You ever seen like the guy who made those in Central Park? There was like the gates.
Christoph.
Yeah. It was almost like some insane version of that.
Yeah, he did when I lived in Fort Myers, Florida, and he circled Sanibel Island and Captiva in these pink.
I was in New York City. I was living there when.
Oh, when he
so
did
I got
gates.
to walk through that. I think I videotaped it. I might.
That was probably really cool, right?
Yeah, and that was planned. He was playing that since the 80s. Like,
did that kill people?
The gates?
One of his installations killed people.
I don't know if it was the gate.
I think it might have been out in San Francisco or something.
I don't know.
Anyway, really,
Yeah.
I think he's still around.
Yeah, and what's crazy is it was revealed that he was a little robot skimmer too in a pool.
Yeah, right.
And
he was actually a Roomba.
Yeah,
and
he was actually a Roomba, and he's here right now, guys. Hey, hey, how you doing, Christo?
Did you think it was like a comment on art or celebrity, or I mean, I think there's.
I don't know what it was. I think it was like just, he achieved everything, but it's like he was always just a little little skimmer robot.
I liked it a lot.
He started So his last artistic piece, and he's like in isolation. He's like over 100.
Yeah.
He's like hundreds of years old or something.
Oh yeah.
Too. And he tells the reporter like what his last one's going to be is he recreates the pool.
Right.
And there's like thousands of people are watching this. Like,
Yeah.
the world, like they're all like I mean everything is like outrageous. It's all like grand.
Yeah.
It's like things the size of Death Stars and but then there's this little pool, and he jumps in the pool.
Yeah,
and he narrates something. He's like he just breaks down his whole body. He loses everything. And then the little, which I find ridiculous. That the perfect. Again, I'm finding it ridiculous. It's a stupid thing to say in this very stylized thing. How could he? How could this skimmer pool be inside this man? That is insane. I don't believe that.
Right, yeah. But it was, I liked it a lot. And this is another one where I'm liking it more the more I think about it.
What was the problem?
There was no problem with this one.
Maybe.
Not really.
Unless you're a skimmer.
Well, yeah.
And you weren't given a choice to become a really successful artist.
I think there's something. I think there's a message there that's kind of under the surface.
I think Andy Warhol actually was a broom handle.
Yes.
You know how he wore that wig?
Wig, yeah.
Yeah, it was actually this was like the blue tile. It was because he was a mop.
Yeah, well,
and because he was like he always wanted to go back to those simpler times. So who knows? Maybe Andy Warhol is somewhere being scrubbing a floor right now.
That could be
in a bucket.
How did he die? He just had a heart attack or something, right?
He died in an operation.
Yeah.
I for some reason when I was younger I thought he died of AIDS. He did not die of AIDS.
No.
But he was shot. So
right.
And I think that like supposedly that fucked him up for like ever. Yeah. Like he never supposedly healed from that. That literally almost killed him. And I don't know.
That's a crazy story.
Yeah, he died supposedly in an operation.
Yeah.
He wasn't that old. All right. But no, he's not a mop, guys. He's.
All right, so and then the next one
is Blind Spot.
Blind Spot.
It was the one with the robots, right?
The robot is a caper.
To me, it just reminded me again of like just something you would see in heavy metal.
Yeah.
Nothing like super memorable, just stylish. Nope. It's fine. There's not even really a twist.
No, there's.
But what's the problem?
Yeah, there's not a twist. I mean, I guess there's like a slight twist in the.
Oh yeah, there's a little bit of a twist.
Yeah,
but they're robots, so it's like it's not that.
From a storytelling perspective, my problem with that was that the stakes never seemed that high. I
guess it's it was like 10 minutes long.
Yeah,
it just was cool looking. Again, it's like. It's just a different style from the rest of them.
Right.
It kind of reminded me. This one definitely reminded me of something of heavy metal.
Much more heavy metalish.
Yeah, definitely looked like something I would have saw in a magazine like in the 80s.
Yes. Yeah, it did have an 80s kind of vibe, a throwback.
Or
Yeah. Well, it was good. Like it didn't blow me away or anything, but it would definitely be in the heavy metal pile. Yeah. If I'm sorting them out. And then the one after that was that Ice Age?
Yeah.
The Topher Grace one?
Yeah, okay, so this one is like...
This is an amazing story.
This is an amazing story, meaning something from Amazing Story.
Yeah, it could. This would be in the Amazing.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's an amazing story.
No, it's not. Look,
it reminded me of I've seen this before. This was done in a Futurama episode. This was done in there's a classic Twilight Zone episode where they discover a civilization, but this one's different. So in the Twilight Zone one, they're these two guys. They're on a planet,
right?
And the one guy finds a civilization. And it's really funny because it's they just zoom in. It's just a photo of the city. Yeah, it's really corny. But it's just they're just in the sand. I mean, And the one guy kind of becomes their god,
right?
And he the other guy's listen, man, let's just get off the planet, And he's making these people do whatever he wants for them. And they're listen, I got the ship going. We could get out of here. And the guy's lost his mind.
Yes.
He's I'm going to be their god. And I'm going to stay here and just torture these little civilization. But eventually, and he makes them even build a life-size statue, which is probably to them
unimaginably
5-6 miles tall. Who knows? Whatever it would be. I mean, it would be something insane. But he makes them build it, and then I guess eventually he dies, and you just see the end of the episode, and the statue gets pulled down.
Yeah,
which I imagine would crush them.
That was probably...
Maybe you want to pull the other way.
Yeah.
Pull the other way, guys. Not on us.
Well, and there's also that George R.R. Martin episode. I forget the TV series, but it was called Sand Kings. Do you remember that one where some guy... he's the Game of Thrones writer.
Yeah, I know what that is. I'm just saying...
He wrote...
I don't ever heard of this series.
It was a science fiction series for HBO or Cinemax or something like that.
Sand Kings?
Sand Kings, and it was a crazy He had these little bugs that he kept in the sand, and they built a society.
Okay.
And they built a bigger society, and they eventually killed them. But it was
well, this one's not as it's just it's played it's. I don't know. It's really odd, almost. There's no stakes for the people in it.
No.
The main star. So you got Topher Grace and. Mary Elizabeth Winstead?
I think so. I don't know. Two famous people.
I'm gonna look her up.
Okay.
Because I want to get her name right.
So they're in an apartment and they have a frozen over freezer.
Well, yeah, the freezer's it's an old school freezer, an old school, and even Topher Grace brings that up, oh, he got one of these, and he opens it up and it's comically, it's just completely frosted.
Yes.
They have wine or whatever. It's they have never opened up their fridge before. Or
right.
Whatever. Just, I don't know. They seem kind of aloof to begin with.
Yeah.
But he pulls out the ice tray, puts an ice in the thing.
And then they notice at some point that civilization is in the...
Well, they find a woolly
ice.
mammoth in the ice.
And they put ice in the wine or whatever, and then they discover there's a woolly mammoth in the ice.
Yeah, Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Okay, and then they crack open the ice in the freezer.
And it reveals a...
Well, it starts out as a medieval society.
Yeah, it's on the... Yeah, you see them they have these equipment with the frozen peas, and they're clawing at them to feed it, but then it's society starts growing in front of them. Decades are passing, hundreds
very,
of
very
years
quickly.
are passing, and they're just but their reactions are so stupid.
Yeah, well,
they're the dumbest part of the.
They are, but it couldn't be any other way because look, let's say you open up your freezer and there's a pocket universe in there, and
would probably be more scared than that Greta episode.
Be terrified. It'd be terrifying, or you would be immediately calling NASA or something. I mean,
hell no, they'd put you in a cage or something.
But these people are just
put you in a freezer camp.
These are just they're just oh my gosh, this is so cool. And then they start watching it.
Yeah, the guy's look at the Starbucks. I guess they're everywhere.
Yeah, right. But then there's a nuclear bomb.
Yeah,
they start killing each other.
And Topher Grace's face turns red.
Yeah. And
they close the fridge.
Right. And then they order a pizza.
Well, they said it's just they wanted to see how they were doing,
right?
And then they opened it up, and it was the future.
Right, they rebuilt,
but
they
now
were so
it's
happy.
Far
they were
into,
oh,
but it's really
it.
far in the future.
Yes,
and then
flying
it's
cars.
getting even crazy in the future. The buildings, and it becomes a giant
diamond
thing in the center. Everything's now who knows, the Matrix? I don't know who the fuck knows, and it just turns into
light,
where they're clearly now traveling the universe or whatever. They've left their. And who knows where they're even people anymore.
To another fridge.
And then it just explodes, as if the universe ended.
Yes.
And they're aw, and then he unplugs the fridge. And then I guess do they open it up again?
Something happens.
They open up again, and it's like it just starts over.
Yes,
because now
there's a brontosaurus downed, and these cavemen are eating it.
Well, they're like monkey men.
Yeah,
and
they're
then
pre-hominids.
T-Rex shows up, which is that's not scientifically
no,
accurate.
I think they're all in different. Like, I don't think they all existed at the same time.
Were there any forms of even like?
I don't think so.
Would they go on bipeds at the world?
Right.
Are we bipeds? Is that what we're considering?
I don't think so. I mean, I think. Well, I don't know.
Were there no hominids?
Right.
There was nothing like that during the dinosaur.
No, I think there was
right?
a very, 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 very long time period between.
Yeah, I remember
the last
as a
dinosaur.
child. That was a major. Like, when I was 5.
Right.
I remember going to kindergarten.
Okay.
And I brought my dinosaur toys with me.
Oh,
and
okay.
And I came a caveman. And my kindergarten teacher was a fucking jerk. She ruined it for me and said, "Well, they didn't exist the same time." I mean, I didn't know. I was
Right.
5.
Well, certainly cowboys existed, right?
Yeah, I was raised by like Flintstones and like Land of the Lost and all that. There was dinosaurs and there were kind of cave people, and all the toys came with cave people. And she kind of told me in some shitty way,
roundabout way.
Yeah, and then I learned over the disappointing during that time period that there was like millions of years in between cavemen and dinosaurs.
And you're asking to see like the Sleestack exhibit, and so it's,
yeah. Let me see. What's that? What was that little one? When they become a friend?
Enoch.
Well, no, there was like
Chaka.
Yeah, Chaka.
Yes,
yeah, he was my favorite part of the Museum of Natural History. Where's Chaka? Where's Chaka?
I had a similar thing when we grew up in New Jersey, and my dad took me to the Princeton Museum. My parents, my mom and my dad, and we saw this big like skeleton of a dinosaur, and there was a thing where they explained very patiently that like cavemen and they were nowhere near
right. It's like they had to like ruin that. I mean, they had to ruin that. I mean, like Hollywood ruined that. They, but like I always find it kind of funny how there's not gonna knock religion, but there's people who think the world's 6,000 years old.
Sure.
And they've come to this conclusion. They've learned over time. It used to be that dinosaurs just didn't exist.
Yes.
Dinosaurs were put in the ground to test us or something like that.
There's a weird story. Yeah,
there's like theories of that. Even like supposedly some non-religious people think that, which I just think is is I'm sure they think the Earth's flat too.
Yeah.
Not whatever.
Sure.
So. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So I was watching like this documentary called Jesus Camp.
I saw that. That was great.
And they had this guy show up wearing like a safari hat.
Yeah.
He's like the scientist or whatever of but he's not really teaching science.
Yeah.
And because of pop culture, they've learned that they cannot say that dinosaurs didn't exist. They can't say it anymore. What they can say is they found a line in the Bible where it says that there's
like a behemoth. Yes.
Behemoth.
Yeah.
Which could be fucking a cow.
Right. I thought in the Bible, I always kind of assumed it was supposed to be like a whale, like a giant.
I just thought
sea
it
creature.
was a unicorn.
Sure. Yeah.
That Jesus rode. And that took him to space.
Okay.
I don't know. Those were my favorite parts of the Bible.
Right. Yes.
His magical unicorn. Judas. The unicorn.
Yeah. Right.
And then he got stabbed by Judas, and he said, to Judas. Is that in the Bible? I don't know.
That's in a Shakespeare retelling of the Bible. That's
That's my favorite, is that one. So, yeah, it's like they had to, so there's like a museum in Kentucky. They have Creationist
Pay for
Museum.
State funds and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, good job, Kentucky. Way to spend your money.
Yeah.
But whatever. So I always wanted to go to it. Well, wasn't the Ark was state fund, but they ended up pulling the money, I think.
I think you may be right.
Yeah, it was the Ark. I'm sure they got some tax money, the Creationist Museum, but someone funded that thing. That thing still costs they wanted to build an Ark, and I think eventually they were like, we're not going to put money towards this, even though that did look kind of cool.
Yeah, well,
it's like a giant, it's just a giant wooden boat.
A lot of cubits.
So they showed people riding dinosaurs, in Jesus' time villages, and it's hysterical. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's
just patent. I mean, that doesn't make sense.
But of course, it doesn't.
Yeah, right.
That's why Marvel. That's why I like Marvel, because Marvel makes sense.
Yeah.
They,
Right.
they would come up with a reason why there was a
Who
dinosaur.
did the comic where the little girl had like a T-Rex? Do you remember that?
Devil Dinosaur?
Devil Dinosaur.
Well,
yeah.
Devil Dinosaur, they changed it. It was Moon Boy and Devil Dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
And then it became a girl, like a human girl.
Okay.
Because Moon Boy was like a monkey boy.
Ah.
And then it became a girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It evolved.
Where are we? Oh yeah, that we were still in Ice Age, right?
Yeah, that's it. Oh well, that's where we stopped.
Yeah.
Civilization started
Right.
over. It was just like it was in the fridge. It was just cool. Visually, it was cool.
Yeah, I thought that was real fun. I thought that was one oddly that it didn't have a happy ending or anything, but my kid could have seen that.
Yeah, that's a safe one to watch. I mean,
yeah.
the nuclear missile part's kind of frightening.
Yeah,
you hear the screaming and
right, but like you probably wouldn't know the stakes of what that meant as a kid. It's almost better to watch that as a kid.
That one's not as I wouldn't mind my kid watching that one. I
Yeah.
don't want to watch anything else, but the problem is once I put that one, he would want to see the others.
Right,
And
yeah.
I wouldn't want to see. I think the only other one I would let him see is maybe like Blind Spot, the one with the bikers. Even though there's some crude language, I would be okay with that one because it's like Guardians of the Galaxy.
The 3 robots one was probably fine.
Yeah, Zima Blue is not that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, is there any new? I don't know.
No, there's probably like 4 or 5.
He wouldn't want to watch any of these. Okay, Alt History.
Oh, I didn't like it. That was the Hitler one.
Yeah, that's kind of stupid. I liked it until they introduced the. I mean, it's again more like it's like the yogurt one.
Very stylized.
It's very stylized, but it looks it's like a machine that just shows like different histories.
Right.
Like
different
it begins with Hitler going out of art school or something.
Yeah.
Trips over a Jewish kid, I'm assuming, but then it each scenario creates a different history.
Right.
And it's kind of dumb. But I don't know, once they had the gumdrop thing, I was like, this is stupid.
Yeah, it got a little ridiculous, and I guess not to be dense about it, but I just didn't really see the point. You know, I mean, it just seemed.
Well, I mean, yes, with him, you do something different with him, you do change history in a massive way.
But I get, I mean,
that makes sense.
Nobody doubts that, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it was just not a. It's fine. I don't think it deserves talking about anymore.
Yeah.
Unless you love Hitler, then
right.
Then I'd give it. What was it? 4 seacals. What is it?
Yeah. 2 seacals up. 2 seacals. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so then that leads up to the last one, right?
And I feel like. Because it's like an anthology series, and like you said, there are people watching these in different orders, and clearly there's no ending. I always feel like, though, well, I guess Black Mirror doesn't do that either, but I guess growing up, and maybe it's because we'd watch the Twilight Zone movie.
Yes.
That's still a movie, so you have your stories, but then there's an overarching story.
Right.
So there's kind of an ending.
Yeah, who was that? Dan Aykroyd?
Dan Aykroyd and,
John Candy, or?
No.
Yeah.
I know, what's his face? Is he playing the William Shatner role in the end with the gremlin, John Lithgow?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And he ends up in the same, after he's the ship landed and he's in an ambulance.
Right.
And Dan Aykroyd turns around. He's like,
you want to see something really scary?
Yeah, was John Lithgow in the beginning with him in the car?
I don't think so. It was Dan Aykroyd. It was someone else. Oh, it was it wasn't Rick Moranis or Matthew Broderick, but it was kind of like a. Well, anyway, yeah.
It's a unifying, but it's a movie. It's a difference. You have to have some kind of overarching thing, or people feel kind of cheated.
Yeah.
This, I don't know for some reason why I wanted more for an ending, something to wrap it all up. This one, it's fine, but it could have been anywhere in any order. Yes. It didn't feel, and the way it ends is kind of abrupt. It doesn't.
Yep.
So it's Russia, World War One, World War Two.
Yeah, it reminded me of a Hellboy type of episode, right?
Well, it's these Russian army guys are in the woods or whatever,
hunting ghouls.
They're it seems like they're in the middle of a war, right?
Yeah.
You don't really know right away until you see them. But
they're a unit that tasked.
No, but the monsters that they're fighting,
right?
You don't really see that. That's not explained right away.
No.
it just looks like they're like, they've seen some shit.
Right? Yeah.
We've seen some shit.
And they have.
And then it's revealed that, like, was it them or, like, a warring army that basically did some satanic thing?
I
that
think
brought
one
them
of
out
their own people, I got the impression that one of their own had, like, summoned these ghouls.
Yeah.
Or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they had to, like, hunt them down and kill them.
Yeah, and then the ending, it's okay.
It's
and
fine.
then it's got some cool music.
Yeah.
Little do 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 do.
Yeah.
Do, 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 do.
Well, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
It sounds a little better than what I was doing.
It was just underwhelming. Like,
Yeah, I mean, then they're like, I guess, was that his son? Was that supposed to be his son, or was it just like his guy, the younger guy,
oh, I didn't.
the one who was playing the instrument? He tells him not to because he saves him. I guess he was just like a young soldier,
Yeah.
but he tells him to like run off. So clearly he gets to
Right.
where he needs to be because the planes show up in the end.
Yeah.
That ending's pretty cool though, when like everyone's like dead and those things are still crawling around.
Yeah.
and, like,
It was good. I mean, I guess.
and the planes just come and annihilate the fuck out of them.
I guess my problem was that it wasn't a great finishing.
Right.
I mean, it
I
didn't-
think I'm trying to think. Like, okay, what would you
Like, what
wrap this up
order?
soon? What would you have preferred to be the last one if you were to pick? Obviously, Sunny's Edge is the first one.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it
I
staying
thought-
there. What would you want it to end on? Alt history? No,
Jeez.
not alt history. Ice Age. Ice Age could have been like a cool ending.
Ice Age could have been a cool ending because it would have shown like all of this. Like, there's a circle to
Yeah.
it. You know.
Yeah.
I guess what I would have done is I would have cut one of these in half and shown like the first half of Ice Age at the very beginning.
Right.
And then the last half of Ice Age.
That
at
makes
the very
sense. Like,
end.
could like sandwich it.
Yeah.
Even though everything's right, you could give like a loose connection. You ever
Right.
heard the Pixar theory?
Oh yeah, that's actually pretty interesting. I
Yeah,
think.
I still think though that the thing with they don't explain cars.
Right.
They kind of they kind of forget. They just mention it
They're
in
like
their
the
theory.
platypus. And
Well, they just mention it. They're like, yeah, then there's cars, and then we move
Yeah.
on to this, and it's just like, okay,
Right.
the theory doesn't work now because you left out one of their major.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I probably I do feel like I'd have a pretty strong opinion as to the order these should be put in.
Yeah.
Because I'd want to space out the not so great ones, and I'd want to space out kind of the whimsical ones.
You know what you can do? Just
Yeah, right.
watch them in whatever
Well,
order you feel like.
It's funny you say that because like you absolutely can.
Yeah,
And,
you have
don't-
the power to do that.
One doesn't need to lead into the other, and I watched them all. I watched first is the one that you had recommended, and then I went back and kind of watched them in order.
Yeah.
But when I was rewatching them, absolutely, I would like jump to the ones I wanted to see again, and
Yeah.
I found myself watching like 3 minutes of a lot of them, and then like going to a different one. It was really kind of a new and different way to watch a thing.
Yeah.
Because like Black Mirror, which this is kind of like, you got to commit.
Yeah.
You know, and that you're there for at least an hour.
Did you do the interactive one?
Oh, I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Bandersnatch?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was real cool. I'm a little surprised no one's done that before, to be honest with you.
They got sued.
Yeah, by the Choose Your Own Adventure.
Supposedly they're
people.
doing more of them.
Yeah.
So they must have worked it out.
Well, I remember seeing it released on Netflix and not really knowing much about it. I like Black Mirror whenever I see it, but I don't love it. You know, I
Yeah.
don't like...
It's hit or miss.
Yeah.
Like, one thing about this is you can't get so... It's not that good, who cares?
Yeah.
There's 5 minutes of your time, you know, or 10 minutes. Whatever.
By the time you know if you'll like it or not, it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some Black Mirrors where they're so long and you're just like...
Yeah.
There's funny. There's some that people like love and I'm like, I don't know.
Right. Yeah, well, I think that's me with Black Mirror, is that I like a few of them a whole lot. I think some of them are fine. There's some that I just don't like.
We could save that for another podcast.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
we got to wrap this one up.
Right,
Okay.
right. I don't know. I thought this was a really
I
great
recommend
thing.
it if you like sci-fi, horror, anthologies, like you said, amazing stories,
Yep.
to heavy metal, to if you like animation, even if you don't even want to put the fucking sound on, you just want to
Yeah.
visually watch it, go ahead. Ignore the clickbait bullshit. Like, I'm sorry, I don't see how this is not a major movie.
Yeah.
This is not meant for children.
Nope.
I would not recommend this to anyone under the age of I don't know.
Yeah.
At least 14.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
At least
not.
14. I would
Yeah.
not. I would not. I'm not gonna let my kid watch
It's probably PG-13 in the strictest sense of the word. Like 13 and up.
I would say that some of these episodes
Yeah.
are borderline pornographic.
Yeah,
So,
I guess you're right. Yeah. Okay, I take that back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone said
It's adult themed, sure.
like you have Pixie watching it. It's like,
Well, it's
I'm gonna have to think back.
yes. It's funny because there are like 3 or 4 where I would have no problem with her watching them.
There was an episode of Rick and Morty. I'll wrap this up.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like my son and I would play Rick and Morty Pocket Verse.
Okay.
It's a app game. It's
Yeah, yeah.
basically just kind of like a take on Pokemon.
Okay.
You have to collect different Mortys. It's kind of funny. It's really funny, actually, the different Mortys. But so he was really into Rick and Morty, so he wanted to watch it, and I said, "There's no way you could watch it."
Right. Yeah.
It's just. But then there was one episode I remember,
Okay.
and it was the dog Snuffles, and I was like,
Okay.
"You go watch that one." I remember that's not too bad. It's the dog. It's kind of funny.
Right.
But I forgot the B plot.
Oh.
All these shows have an A plot and the B plot.
Yeah.
So the A plot's the dog.
Right.
The B plot involves, I think it's Rick and Morty going into someone's brain, and they enter a nightmare world. And it's someone with the Freddy Krueger ripoff guy.
Oh, jeez.
And he says, "Bitch," but that's not even the worst part.
Yeah, yeah.
The worst part, there's like a sex dungeon scene.
Oh, fuck.
And I was just like, ugh! I just started fast forwarding it. So Roger saw like 7 minutes of the show. I had to fast forward. I was like, turn your head and fast forward so you could just see the snuffle parts. And the only reason I even let him see it because we had a dog named Snuffles that died.
Right.
That was kind of similar to that dog. Yeah.
Yeah. I taught high school at a public high school, and I'd always want to show things to the students, but invariably anything worth watching would have one scene where they'd shout out a terrible profanity, or there'd be a nude scene, and you'd be like, "Well, how the fuck?"
I remember
everyone turn around.
One of the best ones, and I guess they were fine with it because the movie was old. It was Romeo and Juliet from the 60s.
Yes, with Olivia Hussey.
Yeah, we watched that, and she's nude.
Yeah,
well, you see, boob,
Right,
and and I just remember that was like a big deal in high school. We're like,
yeah.
you get to watch that movie.
Yep.
But I mean, it's like, who cares? But it was just really funny, and they were fine with showing it because it was like,
I think she
literary.
was very young when they filmed that. To be honest with you,
Well, we were young when we watched it.
I'm just saying,
so it's fine.
All right.
We're not going to watch it now that I know that.
Well, I think our time is done. Our time is done.
When we were 15 and we watched that, I guess we were fine with that.
Franco Zeffirelli's, Romeo and Juliet. That was a great version of it.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure it was.
Right. I'm Joseph K.
Rob Fisher. We're still. Yeah, what?
What? Still going on about that.
That's right. Bye.
All right.